Hey everybody, welcome to Dialog Choices podcast. We missed a week because of stuff, and nothing happened in that time.
Nothing at all.
Nothing happened.
That's not true. We got
Definitely not an attempted coup.
Well, no, that didn't happen. But we did have some like game release stuff. Like Resident Evil had the showcase, and
oh yeah, that's the two things that happened. A coup almost happened, and also everyone's thirsty for a giantess.
Is anybody
That was
actually,
Resident
people are actually
Evil?
thirsty for that?
Yes.
I'm
I didn't even see it. I didn't even see the video. All I see is thirst posting.
I didn't even know it was Resident Evil, and I was
people,
thirsty.
Yeah, I've seen people drawing her. I've seen like various like riffs of memes used with her. Like I saw one that was like this isn't how you talk to short people. This is how you talk to short people, where you like condescendingly like bend over to talk to them, and it's the giantess talking to somebody. It's like there's just so many versions. Like that was what was it? That thing was liked by Dylan Rogers, the creator of that like Gloomwood game that I played a little while ago as Let's Try. Soft and Hollow, that does the horror game recommendations. She's like, oh god, I'm a lesbian or something. Was like a post she said of like the kill animation where this like 9-foot tall woman picks you up by like the neck or has stabbed you through the gut or whatever the fuck happens, and you're just like boob level the entire time with your face. It's a lot.
So she's like Mr. X, except she's Mrs. Y or something? No, wait. Would that be? Anyway. Is she an enemy, or is she? I thought she was the protagonist or something.
No, she's probably the villain. Like, you're probably going to shoot her a bunch, and then she's going to turn into like a goopy pile of black mush and tentacles, and then turn into like a house-sized monster that tries to eat you.
Resident Evil style, yeah.
Generally speaking, lately, yeah, you fight the same creature, you fight the same enemy over and over again. They're vaguely humanoid, or at first they're just a person, but then it's like genuinely unreasonable amounts of body mass start growing out of them explosively, and they have to fight the weird monster that grew out of them, and so on. I think it's probably been going on since at least maybe 4 or something. I don't know.
Actually, things spawn out of them.
I mean, I guess William Birkin was already like that, and that was like 2, huh? So it's pretty early.
I don't remember that.
I think it's kind of just always been a thing. It's just that in the older games, they probably didn't quite have the graphics to like deal with it on the fly. So it was more that like certain enemies, like Sherry Birkin's dad, would just like show up over and over again as an increasingly mutated and bulky nightmare. But whereas like I haven't played 4 yet, or Code Veronica, but like in 5, I remember like you fight that nerdy guy on like you fight that one guy like on a boat, and then he like explodes into a fucking kraken basically, and you have to fight a kraken now that is made of that guy, and it's
a
like
very well designed, balanced fight for sure.
Yeah, like there's always that thing where like a werewolf transforms, and you're like, how do you get bigger? But like, you fucking Resident Evil transformations blow right past that entire question, because it's so completely beyond reason that they literally like expand into be like, I'm now fighting a building made of flesh. Like that's how big they got, and they were just a person a second ago. I don't know how the fuck the virus just sort of like grew him without like intaking anything. Like he's not like consuming mass from something. But no, that'll probably happen with her. She's a big chunk lady, and then she's gonna be a horrible abomination at some point, probably. Because 7, you fought like a family of people, and each of them transformed one by one in different ways.
Getting worse and worse.
So this is called Village, Resident Evil Village.
Yeah,
they're sort of hiding the number. It's Resident Evil 8. But
yeah, because you can hide the Roman numerals for 8 in ill.
Yeah,
creatively ish.
I'm not really a fan of this. No.
Or the number.
I think I think it's really dumb to just kind of like not just give in to the like. just admit you're making the 8th game. Like, stop. Like, I get that
mean,
numbers don't look good because
it's not a secret.
But it's not official, though.
But it's not like it's not called Resident Evil 8.
Yeah.
If they were hiding it, then it just wouldn't be there at all. They would just call it Resident Evil Village.
I mean, I get it. I'm just saying, like, put the number in your stupid name. Like, you're Resident Evil 8. Don't.
I mean,
stop trying to like
Resident Evil Village wiki.
I like that that it's hidden because obviously it isn't 8. Like, it's unofficially 8, but
yeah, whatever the fuck.
That's what they did for 7 too.
I was gonna say whatever,
was the same
whatever
way.
8 means.
I thought 7 was actually called 7 Biohazard, which is weird.
I think it was called Resident Evil 7.
Wasn't it Biohazard, like a subtitle as a nod to the original?
It was Resident Evil's. Yeah, it was. Yeah, if you look at the listings for it, like anywhere, it's called Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. The logo also had the 7 in its name.
The logo was like Resident Evil, and I was like, motherfuckers,
they
like,
put the 7 there.
Don't do that.
They put the 7 in the VIL, but if you look at the listing for it anywhere, it's spelled out as Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Well, you have to,
so
because if you call it Resident Evil Biohazard, that's already a game.
That's my point, is that your argument doesn't make any sense, because they do call it that. They just got cute with the formatting of the title. It's not like they're pretending it's not 7 and 8.
Though.
They call them 7 and 8.
No, they don't. The 8 is called Resident Evil Village. Does it have a Steam page yet?
No. Well, it has a Wikipedia page.
Wikipedia doesn't matter, though.
Oh, okay.
They have this.
That's fair enough.
Okay.
Like, not in that way. Like, not for a super minute. Like for like finding sources on articles and whatnot. It's one thing, but like
here.
Okay, so yeah, I found the Steam page. It is called Resident Evil Village. That's a better source.
Without a semicolon or colon.
No, yeah, it's just called Resident Evil Village. There we go.
If I go to GameStop.
So Andrew's correct that it's called that on the store listing.
I don't know. I like the fact that it has that thing hidden in there.
It is weird that they did it for 7 but not for 8.
I bet, again, because they had to do it because Resident Evil Biohazard's already a game that exists. You can't just call it Resident Evil Biohazard.
But in case
that would confuse people. Like,
but in case of the Resident Evil 7, I think it's such a departure from the franchise that if you don't name it a number, it also has the feeling of, it's just a spin-off, you know?
There is a really neat, weird trivia thing going on here with Resident. I mean, when I put up videos of that game, I'm just going to call it Resident Evil 8 Village because the 8 is in the title.
Because search engine optimization,
that too, yeah.
Also,
but there is a funny piece of trivia here, because that's in only a few years we had 2 cases where a franchise is called one thing in Japan and one thing in the United States, and then a new reboot-ish sequel happens where the title of the game is the English title : the Japanese title of the series.
What was the other one?
So we have Resident Evil Biohazard, obviously, because in Japan the series is called Biohazard, not Resident Evil. And now we have Yakuza Like a Dragon. Because that's the Japanese name of Yakuza. Like Yakuza series wiki.
Oh.
Because the series is called Ryu ga Gotoku, which means like a dragon. Yeah. And so the newest Yakuza game is called Yakuza Like a Dragon. And so I'm now wondering, like, did they call it Like a Dragon Yakuza? And
it would make sense.
I guess I can just check, because I'm already on the wiki page. I can just scroll down to 7.
It seems to be the same title in
Ryu
Japanese.
ga Gotoku 7 Hikari to Yami no Yukue.
That doesn't sound.
So Hikari's light, so it's something like to the light.
Might be a Dragon Quest reference.
Sorry, what was it? It was Hikari.
I can just post in chat, I guess. I can't translate it because it's not real text.
Yeah, Hikari. Light to darkness. No, I don't know what UK is. But Hikari and Yami are light and dark.
Title for.
Oh my god! In Japanese,
game.
Resident Evil 7 is called Biohazard 7 Resident Evil.
Yeah,
I'm just accessing the Japanese.
Oh, so it's something like between light and darkness.
Yeah,
that's what it's called.
I did know that, which is that in Japan it's literally called Resident Evil Biohazard. They just reversed the titles.
Yeah, they did,
which is really funny.
Yeah, it's stupid.
But they can't do that. Good. But they can't. But they can't do that. Well, it's just a funny joke, basically. But they can't do that with Yakuza because adding Yakuza to the title suddenly makes less sense than ever.
It also makes it very political.
It is useful for the fact that the franchise as a whole, it's always worth observing the fact that the real franchise isn't called Yakuza originally, because people are often like, oh, you'll spend a lot of time as a Yakuza member in these Yakuza games, but it's just like that was just what they called it based on the first game, and then they had to stick with that name forever. But no, Japanese, English and Japanese can be weird title wise.
Yeah, Hikari to Yami no UK is like from light to darkness. That's like basically what it's called.
It's like Breaking Bad, but
whatever that means.
I don't know what the
more.
Let me see what the literal
edgy
translation is.
But like everyone
whereabouts of light. Okay, so it's whereabouts of light and darkness. Which is all right, fine.
Do you realize, like, this is kind of interesting for me because I knew growing up that a lot of the titles of movies that I heard and saw, the titles weren't actually the original titles. I knew that because a lot of like posters would have the original title underneath and something. And there's I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but basically what happens here in Portugal is that the titles usually get translated, even though the movie doesn't get dubbed. There's just subtitles. We don't do a lot of dubs here. But in Spain, there's a lot more dubs. So they tend to, as far as I'm aware, translate the titles of the movies a little bit, and not just movies, bands and other stuff as well, a little bit more directly. So Resident Evil would be translated. Actually, I could check it up. Just check it out. It's not translated for Spanish, but that might, I don't know. They don't translate the games, but movies, I think they do. But because we do here in Portugal as well. So the Biohazard thing and Resident Evil that English has with Japan, it's sort of the same thing with all the movies that I watched growing up. They don't get translated a whole lot. There's a lot of inconsistencies. Like I remember, for example, I don't know if you guys ever watched a movie with DiCaprio called Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, and I think it might be on purpose, that movie is called White Collar. The translation is basically called White Collar in Portuguese, and the TV series called White Collar. Yeah, the TV series called White Collar is called Catch Me If You Can in Portuguese. So they just sort of translate it the other way around, and they're completely unrelated. They're just sort of the same story, but
because you probably have to deal with like copyright or whatever the fuck not copyright. What's trademarking? Like or whatever, like where you have like a reserved name and like you can't have another name as something else that would cause confusion within that market. So sometimes you have like limitations where you can't call it something in a certain country or you'll get sued.
Yeah. I mean, and some countries have rules about like what you can call stuff. Like some words are just not as friendly. You might change the title to try to market it. Yeah, it's like a Dragon. It might be just a fucking confusing, useless thing to call your game in the United States. So I think it's more the Yakuza games. You know, Yakuza. That's like you guys romanticize these guys, right? You want to play as these guys? Let's go.
Yeah. I think you're right. It's like
it's more exotic. You get to play as the Yakuza, and we got Mark Hamill in this game.
Because there's a lot of even a lot of movies that are titled after puns or even concepts that are not.
Oh yeah, stuff that you can't translate at all.
Yeah, like Message in a Bottle, for example. In Portuguese, it's something akin to The Words I'll Never Tell You. And in Brazilian Portuguese, it's just a love letter, just called love letter.
It might be a cultural reference that doesn't exist in that country. Mm-hmm. Like you're referring.
Even though the movie might be about things that are completely foreign, but it doesn't matter. The title is still a very important marketing aspect.
Yeah, it's like there with like when Gangnam Style came out, people had to explain what that was even referring to, because what the fuck. Like if you're not in Korea, you're like, I don't even know what this is. Such even when you translate the
reference to the thing.
Well, like once you translate the lyrics, you're like, yeah, but I don't know what they're talking about, because what the fuck is Gangnam Style? So you need to have the context that like Gangnam is seen. It's like the district that's like uppity, pretentious, sort of like rich people that is like, it's kind of like a high water mark to aspire to, but they're potentially full of themselves and so on, but it's also like a status symbol.
That's interesting.
So it's important that he's got Gangnam Style, because like he's like, I think it's supposed to be that, I don't remember, it's been like 8 years, but it's like either either he has achieved Gangnam Style, or he's reached the point where he can or he's like impersonating Gangnam Style. I think it was supposed to be a parody or a satire or whatever the fuck, but that was 2020. That was 2012. It's been so long.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny that like my whole engagement with that song is completely detached from the meaning. It's just like I would guess a large part of the population that doesn't speak English engages with English spoken or English sung words. Yeah. And it's for Gangnam Style. It's just, you know, it's just a fun song and whatever.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, like people constantly just don't bother learning what a song is about and just kind of enjoy the sounds it makes, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, that's nice.
Like Macarena, which is used as like a fun dancing song to teach to children in the United States without any context wider to it, when it's like entirely sexual in nature and like.
Yeah, we don't do that too much for kids.
That's because you usually only play like the chorus, and that's
they also edit it. They just go like 1, 2, 3 Macarena, 3, 4, 5, 6 Macarena. Like they just replace the lyrics with numbers for the sake of dancing and just don't bother with the actual like context of what the song is about. There was the only reason I know the Gangnam thing is because around the time when. It probably wasn't even related then, actually, but at some point Hank Green made a video that was just him translating a bunch of popular songs, like popular dance songs from other countries that have reached the United States and got popular here. And so he reached out on Twitter and got in contact with a bunch of different people to translate them, and then he tried to rewrite those translations so they would still work with the like syllable count and everything, so he could sing them as the original song but translated.
Oh, that's cool.
And so that's my point of reference for that, basically. So like he did that one. He did the Numa Numa.
Oh God!
That old one. That's even. Oh my God!
That one really fast Japanese song. That's like dun 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 dun. That one.
Oh yeah.
He just covered a bunch of those songs. It's just a really entertaining video that I end up rewatching like once a year, just because I'm like, oh, that song. I just want to watch that for 4 minutes again. That video that's like an amalgamation of translated songs. I think Macarena is like a song about I think it's a girlfriend that sleeps with her boyfriend's friends while he's away at the military or something. Like it's like, oh
yeah,
okay,
yeah. It's about like infidelity, stuff like that.
It's like listen to your body, listen to it, Macarena is like the lyrics. Hey, Macarena.
But no, like, I think her name is Macarena.
Yeah,
yeah.
Her name's Macarena, and she's gonna listen to her body and sleep with whoever she feels like while her husband or boyfriend's away in the military or whatever. I think it's something along those lines. And it's like, oh, they just neuter this and just have us dance to it as like 5-year-olds in like school or whatever when they're trying. Like, I don't know why that became the one to latch onto.
That's the American dream, baby.
That's kind of funny. I'm looking at the Spanish version here, and the there's a website called Macarena.com. And the Spanish version does not. What you're saying, it's not as brutal as, or not brutal, I guess explicit as the English. I think it doesn't translate. It's kind of interesting because it's like, give me your body joy, Macarena. That your body is to give joy and good thing.
Give me.
Is that how it goes?
Body joy.
Is that the correct translation?
I don't know. I don't speak the language it's from. It's not an English song.
Because in English, in Spanish, it's just like it is give me your body, but it's not like, I don't know. It's just I can only speak from my own perspective as a Portuguese person, but it's like that doesn't shock anybody, does it?
Now I'm trying to remember now. Like shit.
Your body is for joy. It translates as that. Your body gives joy, but it's like maybe give your body to the dance rather than necessarily, you know.
99 Luftballons.
Yeah, she has a new love called Vitorino.
I'm curious about. I want to look at the English version of 99 Red Balloons and then the original version 99 Luftballons and see if one is a translation of the other or if it's a completely different song set to the same tone, because they do that a lot.
Especially older songs, it's very common to have just sort of cultural osmosis, as it were, in just different versions of the same song, and just be very old in their roots. So this week, you're looking it up right now.
But yeah, I don't.
Sorry,
I was gonna say this week we got Resident Evil 7. You said there was another game. I didn't even know it was Resident Evil.
Yeah, that's apparently Resident Evil 8 where the gray lady came from that everyone's freaking out about it. So the original lyrics are weird. They're like the chorus, like 99 Luftballons auf ihrem Weg zum Horizont hielt man für UFOs aus dem All. Darum schickt ein General Shit. Die Fliegerstaffel hinterher.
That sounds
Alarm zu geben, wenn so wär. Dabei waren dort am Horizont 99 Luftballons. So the translation is 99 balloons on their way on the horizon were taken for UFOs from space. Hence, a general sent a squadron after them to give the alarm. But then on the horizon were just 99 balloons. And the English version is 99 red balloons floating in the summer sky. Panic bells, it's red alert. There's something here from somewhere else. The war machine, it springs to life, opens up one eager eye, focusing on the sky as 99 red balloons go by. So it's actually, it seems to be an authentic translation. I totally had this idea in my head that there was like, it was they took like, I actually like double corrected here. Like I thought the original song was actually about war, and it was like this grim thing about like attack balloons, but it's actually about a false alarm in the original version, and the translation is just a more elegant phrasing of that translation.
But it doesn't talk about UFOs though.
Well, they change it to there's something here from somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, it probably gets, makes for a better song, but
something alien and outsider. But in both cases, it's like the first one says alarm, and the other one says the war machine springs to life. But it's both cases, it's like it's the government mobilizing against the incursion that turns out to just be 99 red balloons. I learned something today. I was for some reason I was so sure it was going to be like Macarena, where the commonly used English version is completely a different song. I think, fuck. I used to listen to Basshunter when I had no taste.
I don't know what Basshunter is.
I think it's like a Swedish or Danish techno artist, and he particularly, the reason we knew about him because it was when he had meme songs about like chat bots and like Dota and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Say so like Visita, Hali Dota, Spela Ina. I don't know the language for shit. But
he's Swedish.
He had Dota songs, and I didn't even play Dota, but it's like video game music. He. But I remember specifically that he suddenly put out an English song, and it was the exact song as one of the other songs he'd been doing before, but just completely different. Like he just replaced the meaning entirely because it was about like beers in a bar or whatever, and I'm like, what? It's like he's like I want to have an English song, so I'm just going to use the exact same music and rhythm and like syllable count and all that and whatever the fuck all the words are that are right for that stuff, and just write new lyrics for it from scratch in English. And there was, and I remember them being some really janky lyrics.
That's the smartest kind of plagiarism, international one through different languages. Well, nobody will ever get you.
Self-plagiarism. Because it's his own song. He's taking his own song and just be like, I want to have an English song, so I'm just gonna write English lyrics over the music I already used for a different song.
Except different meaning. That's fair enough.
So that had me primed for the idea that between that and Macarena, I'm just primed for the idea that when something gets translated, it might not actually be a translation at all. It might just be a completely different piece of music.
What's your first piece of game music that you remember? That's something that, you know,
like
something like that, I suppose, is related to games, or maybe from a game.
Pandering to gaming music, basically.
Yeah.
As opposed to video game soundtracks.
No,
wait,
I was thinking.
I'm confused. Like, what do you?
He means like songs that about gaming or songs about games, as opposed to soundtracks.
I was thinking because probably my first song was the first Plant vs. Zombies ending, just being like all about because usually you don't get an ending song about the game. It's just like some soundtrack or something. But the Plant vs. Zombies, the original one, ends with a song about the game by, I don't remember her name, but she's a famous Japanese composer. And it's really fun. And it's like basically like the Portal song, except it was earlier than that.
So you do mean in-game music?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, it could be.
Like a lot of people remember Portal for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember any.
This
I don't
was
remember
a
any
triumph.
music. That was not made for a video game about video games. Very unusual to hear music like that
about video games. Yeah, I actually wrote a song.
It's not like most pop songs. Like, I played on my PlayStation. Like, no.
I wrote a song about.
I was gonna say it depends on how you categorize it, I guess, because there's the fucking Bloodhound Gang song about where Pac-Man's high on crack.
Okay, rap music just gets completely cut out of that.
Bloodhound Gang's just doing what they do apparently.
Rap music just is a mess of words most of the time. It's just people throwing vomit of words at a screen and like hoping it works.
Wow, just coming out swinging today.
I do not like rap music and country music are just not genres of music.
That's like the
those
most
are
common
two very different genres, though.
Especially for a white person to have.
I like jazz.
Don't admit to it.
I think it's a great genre and it's beautiful and has a lot of good history, but like not the one where you put dumb beats over poetry. That one doesn't work for me.
Spoken word jazz.
Go away.
And all that
Spoken word jazz is also okay, but I just don't like rap music. There is probably like really old rap music that I would like a lot more, but I've never heard modern day rap music where I'm like, good God, could I just die instead, please?
I mean, I don't expose to it in the first place, really, so I don't really have an opinion. I think Stephanie listens to a lot of rap. I
grew up around it, and so it was just like I don't want to be.
You also don't like most things that have lyrics, if I remember correctly.
Well, yeah, I also usually don't like lyrics.
You usually just want instrumental music.
Yeah, because I'm there to listen to music. That's what I want to listen to. I'm
providing context for your opinion.
No, I know. And that's why I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying like, yeah, that's why I have that opinion. It's because I just don't. When I listen to music, it's to listen to music.
But, I think I listen to a lot of instrumental stuff as well, but not the vast majority. But I think it's a different style of music, though. The music that is all about just the instruments and just the arrangement. When lyrics are brought in, it's just, I don't know. You even see it in the composition itself. Like the music needs the instruments need to take a step back, and they can't be as complicated. They can't have as much going on. When you have lyrics, even if the lyrics aren't, even if you're not singing every second, there still needs to be. You need to give the listener time to process the song, because the song becomes about the lyrics, not just about how cool it sounds. I feel anyway.
Or you can just go to an orchestra and enjoy.
But you also have orchestra that is sung. And it has the same effect.
Not opera.
An opera doesn't need instruments.
I don't know about. Actually, that's a good point. I know there's like classical music that has voice in it.
Yeah,
it's not very common, but also it has the same effect of like the instruments need to take a step back because there's just too much going on. But when you have like full on instrumentals, it's you go full out.
You can add Gregorian chants to music, and that's okay too. I'll take that. That's the only lyrics.
I'll take chanting.
Yeah, chanting works. That's okay.
Yeah,
chanting can't be saying real words. They have to be like Latin or something, a dead language that I'll never learn and never know.
I'm trying to think what I first, and then it's like it could be the System of a Down song. The System of a Down has a Legend of Zelda song.
Oh, I don't think I've ever heard.
Which is kind of a
trip.
trip.
I think I know about it, but
yeah, no, it's fucking silly. It's like Link has come to a town. He's come to save the Princess Zelda. It's just fucking silly. It's like a minute-long song. And he's like, his voice is cracking. And it's just like the silliest weird, like, all right, this is happening now. Because System of a Down does that.
Yeah.
But then it might have been... So I don't know if I've encountered that first or if I encountered Basshunter's Dota song. Which... I think the music video had subtitles, so you could tell what the fuck was being said, but otherwise, yeah, like it's impossible to like recall it because it's in a different language, and it's like it's one of the languages where if I read it, I still can't say how to pronounce it. It's still too like German. I'm like, okay, I've decoded most of this, but
Dutch is complicated. Yeah,
around like Swedish and Dutch and stuff, there's like that's
he's Swedish. Yeah, right. Sorry.
Yeah, like you read it, and I'm like, that's not shit. I don't know the tricks. I don't know the tricks of how to turn this into sounds. There's too many things that don't match up with how I think they would be pronounced.
I think French takes the cake, though. Because that's the extreme.
Russian feels like it's trolling me, though, because Russian looks like English sometimes. And whatever letters look vaguely like our alphabet still don't ever follow the same rules.
They're not the same, yeah.
So it's a prank.
Oh, you think this is an N, do you?
Yeah.
What about this Y? No.
It's like, no, you pronounce the letter E like the letter Z, obviously. Like, it's like completely baffling and off. Like, it's it feels like they're just fucking with us by including any of the same letters.
I love that Russian has like 3 different letters for the sound Y, I think, because there's like I think I've looked into it because I was trying to figure out how to pronounce a certain word in a game that I played, but it's like they used to use that word and now officially it's not used anymore, or that letter rather, and now officially it's not used anymore, but they still pronounce it, so the words look like they are pronounced one way and then they're not because the old way is different. I think I'm obviously I don't speak Russian, but it's like Arabic having 4 H sounds that are all different. Yeah. So how do you even write that in English? It's the х sound that sounds a little bit straightforward.
Yeah, I'm not very good at the throaty languages, the ones that require you to actually make weird sound.
Yeah.
Pronounce letters. Those ones are tough for me. I can't do them.
I have a lot of trouble with the h sound, the H sound in English. I always drop it for because just it's difficult for me, but
the H sound just gets dropped a lot in general. Maybe.
Yeah, some accents just don't say it, but sometimes it's very important to say it because there's words that
Yeah, if it's the first letter, you probably want to say it because it makes the word what it is.
Yeah.
How are you? What?
How are you? Yeah, that's how it feels more comfortable to me. How are you? Are you very nice?
I mean,
anyway, what about you?
There's a little like go to L. Ow,
hey,
how are you? Yeah. Hey, how are you? Like there definitely are like dialects that just don't pronounce
Chicago
H's.
Accent.
It's like both Chicago and whatever Tracer is.
British?
The problem is there's several English accents in England.
I think Tracer's accent is not actually a real one.
There's like a north one and a south one in Cockney, and I don't know which one that is. And it's a lot. I don't remember if Cockney is a Tracer. I actually don't remember if Cockney is an English accent or if it's an East American accent.
It's I think southwest London Cockney.
It's always funny when somebody says you sound English or you sound American because like both of us have so many dialects. Like Boston and New York and South, but which South and so on. I mean, the mumbly ass, like fast talking one, or are you the drawl South, or
Cockney English?
There's so much
fake English.
The molasses sound with a little, bit of
pretend. You say like the wrong words and expect people to understand you. I don't like that.
I think that's why I've seen it like early in the life of Overwatch.
No, it's like Okay, so I'm looking up a thing of like how to say some words in a Cockney accent. And like how to say wife is trouble and strife. It's like that. No, you didn't fucking say the word. No, you made up a whole other sentence.
They're trolling you. They're trolling you when they say that.
Okay, here, I'll listen to the video of the guy doing it because I'm.
I'll listen to the video.
If it's a video, that's got to be a joke, right?
I don't know.
This guy doesn't sound like he's joking. He's got a very professional video.
You can't trust these people. You turn your back on them, and they'll just make up new words.
I remember early in the life of Overwatch, I saw somebody a video complaining.
This isn't real. No, this isn't a real. This is not a real accent.
Are you not just talking about the H-Bomber guy video?
People don't speak this. No, it's a real, like, this is a guy.
I mean Colonel.
I don't remember. It was somebody. It was just like a.
There's the Doomfist review where he just keeps going after Tracer as a running joke throughout the whole thing. The most racist caricature of the entire game.
Oh yeah, I remember that joke.
Yeah.
Does he do that over and over again? I don't remember.
You can't say love. Only we can say love.
Yeah, I thought the
YouTube videos are fun sometimes.
Yeah. I saw a video of somebody complaining about Tracer, specifically the way she intonates the sentences. Like she has the right accent, but like she intonates differently. And it's like very obvious somebody faking the accent.
Oh
but
no,
maybe
they couldn't just get somebody with the accent to do it.
I have no idea who her voice actress is.
You think that there would just be someone available? I guess they do just use the same 4 voice actors for every video game, though.
Kara Theobald.
The United States is a bad habit of like not getting good talent.
Well, I just think about like how English. I think Laura Bailey plays Jaina Proudmoore in World of Warcraft, but she also played Abby in Last of Us 2, and she also played what's her name? Kine.
She plays so much stuff.
Nier.
She also played
Bubbles and Vice, you dumbass! Like screaming monologue that happens at the beginning of Nier is the same voice actress that played Abby in The Last of Us. Like they're just fucking everywhere. Like they just work every day. They're very prolific. Yeah. It's like holy shit.
Yeah, Laura Bailey records records a lot of video games and then records a lot of anime as well.
Yeah, and I didn't
just cartoons, anime.
I didn't know how prolific she was because it wasn't like a meme yet. How often she's in stuff? Because the go-to one people think of is Jennifer Hale for like female video game voice actors, and then like for video game cartoon voice actors, it's somebody that was an MLP.
I don't remember who Jennifer Hale is. Is she
Jennifer Hale played female Shepherd and a lot of other characters.
Yeah. A lot, yeah.
I think Nolan North and Jennifer Hale played the twins in BioShock Infinite.
She also played Ariel in The Little Mermaid. You know,
she's busy.
Probably not a movie you've ever heard of or watched, but yeah.
Jennifer Hale played The Little Mermaid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She also is Cinderella, and apparently The Last Airbender, she plays some character there. Yeah. For sure.
Oh yeah, I only knew her from more recent video games, but yeah.
That's where I know her from. She's from Baldur's Gate as well. She plays Imoen.
She also plays Ashe in Overwatch.
Is she really?
Yeah, Jennifer Hale is Ashe in Overwatch.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Of course.
America doesn't have a lot of options for voice actors.
If you make a big enough game, the same voice actors will just show up again.
Yeah.
Like, all right, where's the Troy Baker character? Who does Troy Baker play in Overwatch? Let's just assume he does. Nolan North and Troy Baker, where are they in Overwatch? Actually, I don't know if they do.
She's Dinair in
actually,
Baldur's
Troy
Gate.
Baker does not play in Overwatch.
When I hear a certain type of tone of like deep voice in any Blizzard game now, I'm always like, is it the voice actor of Winston, though? Maybe it's Winston.
Isn't he like? Isn't he like a young guy?
Who it was?
I think I've seen his face, and he does not look like anything.
No, it can be a surprise.
Now, I do have to say, Overwatch 2 is going to come out eventually, and there'll be new characters.
Yeah.
And maybe Troy Baker will be there finally.
Will there be new characters?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Surprise! Troy Baker was the announcer the whole time.
Oh my
That's
god,
right. Crispin Freeman is Winston.
Traveling to Numbandi. That's Troy Baker.
Just like,
He's so talented.
His voice.
No, he just does that raw.
Oh my god. Impressive.
Yeah, there's some voice actors that are absolutely, they have a range and a half. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I remember, I think he stopped making voice lines, but do you remember Mercurio from Vampire Bloodlines? The guy that
Mercurio.
The guy that's all shivved up right at the beginning of the game. He's like a ghoul.
Not very well.
His voice actor he makes so much stuff, especially for movies, and he's like one of those specialist voice actors that does like alien sounds, like for Zurg and stuff like that, and like insects and whatnot. So if you have insects in your movie, then you call him up and, hey, I need some bugs that are gross, and he's like,
I did like another wave of attempted appeals to get my series back, and I think they just ignored them this time. I feel like I think I sent in appeals and I just never heard back about them. I think it's been more than a month, and I think it's supposed to come back in a month. So the fuck.
You're talking about your Bloodlines.
Yeah, because the soundtrack for that game came out as like a collector's thing. So then Sony claimed anyone that had the soundtrack and blocked those videos of every Let's Play of the game across all of YouTube where the audio was sufficiently audible, I guess, or whatever. And probably because of the way that I edited audio, it made it really catchable or whatever. So it blocked like half my Vampire series, and it's been perpetually like half blocked for a while. Like at this point, the videos that are blocked have 3,000 views, and the videos that aren't blocked have 6,000. So it's like a really awkward thing where people. But now I think that series has been half down for longer than it was ever up, maybe even by a factor of 2. That's deeply frustrating.
Brutal.
But like at this point, it's like they don't. It was like I think it's supposed to. It's like a violatable. It's like a violation offense. I think like it's I think you're not allowed to like re-upload stuff. Get around copyright.
Don't do that. Don't do that because they will. Yeah.
But that's deeply.
They will probably detect you again.
It's deeply frustrating because of the fact that like it was a mistake. And it was never supposed to happen, and they stopped claiming people's videos because it was never supposed to be that way. But then they also didn't clear the existing claims. You have to like actively like work with them to clear the claims, and they don't really work with you. And it's like fuck. Like I think the only way to get around it is to just re-upload those fucking videos. And that's deeply annoying. I don't know. I might test out the idea of re-uploading them unlisted or whatever and see if they get claimed. And then just be like,
do only one first, because if they issue copyright strikes, you know how dangerous those can be.
Yeah, but I don't think
if only there was some kind of like actual system in place and not some taped together.
Yeah, no, like no one's looking.
Yeah, I think the reason why they do it like that,
the entire copyright system on YouTube is actively abused by people constantly, and whenever anyone does anything wrong, there's no like report button. We have no power as like. We have no power as content creators to ever be like, this is fraudulent. Like, there's no button that says, hey, I think this is in bad faith, that like raises it up to like a higher person or something to actually look at it. So like the only options you can say is like, it's just assumed that the person who claimed your stuff is correct, that their stuff is in the video and so on, and it's supposed to be claimed. And then you have to appeal to them by claiming it's fair use, or claiming like it's a cover or this or that thing, or or claiming you have the rights to it and stuff like that. And none of them are like, you can never claim like, hey, actually, there's no button for, hey, this copyright claim was a mistake and you should take a look at it. Or there's no button for like, hey, you don't own this. Like I can't. There's no button for accusing the person that claims me of not literally it being illegal for them to claim my video, and that happens all the time, and there's no feature for that. Because like there's people that do mistaken claims. There's people who upload like fucking white noise or something and then make it claim videos, and it's like that's intentionally fraudulent. And then there's the weird mess of like, I run a Let's Play channel, and my Let's Play channel has a new multi-channel network, and my multi-channel network claims all of my content as if it's owned, because they're only used to like running like vlog channels and channels that make 100% unique content or whatever. So the moment they have a Let's Play channel, they don't understand copyright, and they claim every video by everyone on the internet that's ever played the same game as the person that they own now. And it's like, no, you can't do that. And sometimes those just never go away, and there's no button for like alerting them that they're doing something illegal, and there's no button for like reporting them to YouTube for abusing the system intentionally or unintentionally. And it's like, sometimes it's just like some guy played Minecraft on a stupid like high profile channel, fucking some talk show featured a clip of Minecraft for a moment, and now the talk show's super corporation is claiming everyone's Minecraft videos. Like, it's like, what the fuck? Is that how this works?
Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, the popular story is the one from like Family Guy, where they had like a YouTube video on Family Guy, and then Fox claimed that video because they thought it was stolen from Family Guy. It was like, no, you stole that from like, you can't do that. But like, yeah, it's again because the system is built on the assumption that you as the content creator are going to always be the thief in the situation, and that the corporation is because there's no instance where the corporations are wrong. It's just that you've done something to make them think that you did something wrong. Like, it's never like, oh no, they were just absolutely wrong. It's like, no, you just did something to make them think that you did something wrong. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, all right, so now you have to like go through weird hoops to say like, actually, I own this content. And they go like, wait, what? And so like, either they have to respond like, wait, he just said he owns that content, and they have to like go actually battle it out, or you just give in and you're like, all right, fine, whatever. Here's your like 2 cents.
Like in our cases, the claims happen because yes, we do not own the content. And so it's a bummer when like Konami or Square Enix claims the video, and you're like, all right, well, just not going to make money off of that one, whatever. But then it's like fucking Toys for Kids Children's Num Num channel claims your video, and you're like, you don't own Vampire the Masquerade. I'm not falling for this.
Yeah.
You're not SME, the people that I'm definitely fucked whenever they claim me. Like, you're just some asshole. You don't own shit. You don't make video games. It's deeply frustrating.
I'm really surprised by. Oh, well, I am surprised, although maybe I shouldn't be, by the owners of by Paradox, basically, by them, how they're behaving with the Bloodlines franchise, honestly, because do you know about that debacle with the? I don't know if we talked even in a podcast before.
No, I don't know what's going on about that game generally. It was announced once, and then I've heard nothing. So all I know about that game is that there's a crouching guy with long hair on like a rooftop.
So the game was initially, well, not initially, but for a long while it was slated for March 2020. Oh. And then was delayed a little bit, and then in the middle of summer when it was.
I did see you recently post in like Discord or whatever saying like that it's quickly becoming vaporware.
I'm pretty at this point I think they're ditching it or something, or just making a new game and calling it something else. Because what happened in September, I think it was, the game was supposed to be released in November, is they without explanation they fired the lead writer and the lead
that's a good sign for an RPG.
Yeah, they just fired them without any explanation. And people within the team were like, why did they do it? Nobody ever said anything. And then hired. Was
it that guy that might have done stuff?
Chris Avalon?
Yeah.
Was it okay. Yeah, it wasn't him.
I was going to say that might be a reason. If it was Chris Avalon.
No, it was. It's Ryan Mitsoda.
Like, so many games used his name as like a selling point. Like, oh my god, we have Chris Avalon in our game. I've played so many of his games, and now it's like, oh. Maybe not good news.
That's not. Yeah, I don't think he worked on the game. I'm pretty sure he didn't. Because he was at the time
for what game
last year. Chris for Vampire Bloodlines 2. Chris Avalon is a writer for hire, so he basically had his fingers in a lot of games. But I don't think he worked for Bloodlines. I think it's completely unrelated. So I don't know the lead world builder or world creator or concept creator. I don't know their name. I do know Brian Mitsoda. Brian Mitsoda was the lead writer for the original game and was also the lead writer for this game. And he said...
So they fired the guy that made the original game, wrote the original game.
And the current game as well. So, yeah. And he said later, I think, I don't know if he was on
is
Twitter.
once again parting ways with Casey Hudson.
It's sort of that situation. He said he didn't understand
why the game will be great.
And he said his work was done. Like he did all the timelines, or what are they called when you have a due date, whatever,
deadlines.
Deadlines. He matched these, yeah. And the team was like, yeah, everything is fine. But I think the problem was that they, like the internal, like people kept saying or kept hearing rumors that the internal feedback was that the gameplay itself wasn't polished enough. But
which he
they hired. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But they hired a producer from Assassin's Creed 2.
Oh no!
And they haven't posted on the Twitter page since September, and it wasn't about Bloodlines 2. But then this was in August when he got fired, and
that's
that's
why it's always so dangerous to announce stuff so early.
No, I think what I'm pretty sure they're doing is they're completely revamping the game to make it a different game because they're apparently going to release on the new consoles. So I don't know. I'm really disappointed with them because there's no communication whatsoever. There was never any communication about firing Mitsoda. It's just
it's frustrating because Paradox, if handled right, is one of the fucking companies that like could make a decent game.
Yeah, they do make they've made some good stuff.
I mean specifically like RPGs. Like RPGs, AAA RPGs are just dead. Like no AAA company will actually make a proper RPG basically ever again. Even though they love to fetishize RPG mechanics as a selling point for every other genre, they just won't make real RPGs anymore. At best, they'll make looter shooters, which they pretend are RPGs, even though they're just they're just Diablo, but you shoot in first person. When Diablo was never an RPG either, so it's just deeply frustrating.
I'm offended in Borderlands.
So like all that's left in the AAA sphere is CD Projekt Red and BioWare, and BioWare is just fucking limping along as a weird zombie dreg version of its prior self, and you never know what you're gonna get because each time a game comes out, it's been 3 years again, and you don't know who the fuck's been fired and what the fuck EA did to them next and what fucking initiative they decided like we gotta have multiplayer in Dragon Age or whatever the fuck they might decide to do. So like that's always a gamble, and I have less faith every single sequel because I'll remind you we had Mass Effect Andromeda followed by fucking Marathon. That's their most recent 2 games. So I
not Marathon. That's not the name of the game.
Fuck. That's the Bungie people. Anthem. There's so many fucking forgettable single word titles these days.
It's kind of related, the name Marathon and Anthem, because you sing the anthem after the marathon.
I mixed it up. Marathon's a game I would actually like to play someday.
Oh, it is a game. Okay.
Yeah, Marathon's like Doom. A bit.
Marathon's by Bungie.
Yeah, it's Bungie's old like Doom style game where it's the 3D environment but with 2D like sprites.
Do you not consider the Divinity Original Sin to be like a AAA game?
Not really.
It's not made by a AAA studio, right?
I would call that solidly AA. But that's the thing is like that's the only form that. That's the only form that stuff exists in these days, is that you only really get RPGs from either super indie companies or you get them from these like moderately successful AA-ish companies that exist entirely as a result of kickstarting every single project. Yeah, it's like that's Larian Studios. That's Larian Studios and the Shadowrun people.
In Exile
In Exile,
Obsidian
and Hairbrained.
Hairbrained Studios,
Hairbrained, Obsidian, In Exile, and Larian. They all of them kickstart every single project, and that's the only reason we get RPGs anymore. It's horrifying.
Obsidian got bought by Microsoft, so now they're technically a first-party developer.
And Wasteland 3 came out great.
I don't.
I mean, that's the thing, though, is like once you... There's a really bad misunderstanding that I think a lot of consumers have about video games development, and that it's flashier doesn't always sell. or doesn't equate, like flashier doesn't always result in a better game. Like a game that looks stunningly visually isn't necessarily going to mean it's going to be great.
What was a little astonishing about Wasteland 3 is that you could clearly tell they were trying to be flashy, but they never really succeeded.
No, they didn't.
It was never a particularly visually impressive or even pretty game. But you could tell compared to the previous game that they were literally like, we gotta put in high production values, and they just couldn't. And it's like, oh no.
I don't know why.
Instead of wasting their time, they could have just made better quests.
And I would love to know, like, it's always, again, I wish there was like a documentary or a fly in the wall type situation where I could see, all right, what the hell's going on here? Is it like, is some kind of guy in a suit showing up from Microsoft and being like, look, this game's great and all, but it doesn't got that pizzazz. And like, they just throw all this shit at the wall to see what Microsoft goes like, yeah, that's the pizzazz. Like, what's happening? Why would you make this? Like, Wasteland 3 is a good example. Like, why did you make this? What the hell is this game for? Because the story is absolute shit. The visuals are like not even memorable. And the gameplay is the worst part of it all.
Even
like,
when it wasn't glitching, it just didn't work.
Yeah, and like what was the point of this game besides just to be
nominated as RPG of the Year versus four games that weren't RPGs? That's the status of the genre. That's the state of the fucking genre. It's four competitors just weren't RPGs. And it was a bad RPG, and that was the genre that year according to the TGAs, which admittedly just don't pay attention to half the good games that come out. It was that's the state of the genre. We have two AAA companies that might make an RPG every 5 years, which are BioWare and CD Projekt Red, and then we have a patchwork quilt of AA companies that are functionally indie in that they are Kickstarter funded on every single project, and each one has different quirks and flaws, and you kind of just hope for the best. And some of them, like Double Fine, some of them are a little higher than other ones. Double Fine doesn't make RPGs, but yes, they
not RPGs. Sorry,
but they do similar stuff. Yes,
yeah,
so they kickstart everything. Double Fine is own fucking bag of worms where they fucking kickstart stuff and then they just give up midway through and they say it's 1.0 now. We quit. Space D of 9. They just didn't finish it. They're just like 1.0.
I think that might be the reason why some games just get released like they do. There's a lot of iteration that goes into designing RPGs. Like, I think Wasteland needs another iteration process on top. Not necessarily, I mean, for sure in terms of the bugs, but like to tie up the whole concept, to make it, make sense.
They establish a premise. And like that's the whole thing, is like every RPG establishes like a premise of like, here's the special state of this world, here's the core conceit, here's the core conflict that we're going to explore all game. And then in many cases, after introducing that idea, they just don't explore that at all.
It might be
like Original Sin 2 is like, you're 4 people and you're all the protagonist, and they fucking committed to it, and that was great. And a lot of other things like Wasteland 3 is like, we'll introduce this core thing, but also like, whatever, man, it's just Wasteland 2.
But also
Originals,
the way Larian works is precisely like that. They iterate on the design. So while a lot of quests are isolated and just quests here and there, like the base gameplay loop keeps evolving as the game gets developed. And so, and of course they know their engine very, very well. This was, I think, the first time they were using this is the first game with the engine that Wasteland 3 has, so all the bugs and all that adds to the problems. I'm saying, just to go back to Larian and them being AAA, I think I consider themselves AAA mostly because, or specifically Divinity Original Sin 2, like it's fully voice acted, the graphics look amazing, it's got like a level of polish.
They pulled off like impressive stuff that feels impossible. I just don't think that their actual budget or staff count equate to what AAA means.
Yeah.
Like AAA is like how Resident Evil 6 had 600 employees working on it.
That's just too bloated. I don't think any RPG will ever be able to...
That's just modern gaming. RPGs would benefit from that many staff members more than any other genre, but they don't get them.
But I think they don't get them because the return on investment is not there. It's too risky.
Exactly.
But
They would benefit for sure, but like,
but that's the thing is like you're not. I don't know. There's that level of like, well, how come these small games are so beloved and well received? Like,
but they're beloved and well received by a small community. Like,
yeah.
But
until
like,
they're not like Undertale. Until there's a very large community.
Undertale's a weird example though. Like Undertale is, hey, what if like one guy went in and made a video game? And you're like, well, that's not going to be. Well, it's just that every
year, every year there's 2 or 3 indie games that embarrass the AAA industry a bit.
Yeah,
you got your Undertale and your Stardew Valleys and your Among Us's and stuff, and it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, like Stardew Valley is another one. Yeah, Stardew Valley is another good example of like, okay, but if one guy could do this, what the hell is your excuse? Like, what,
it is really
like,
amusing
what's going
that
on here?
Stardew Valley came out, and as far as I can tell, Nintendo never responded to that success by making another Harvest Moon. Like they just didn't.
Yeah, like what the hell?
They just didn't, right? Like I don't keep paying close attention because I don't care about the
Nintendo
games,
doesn't respond to pressure from other companies or anything.
I guess it's up there with how. I guess it's up there with how they didn't respond to the success of Undertale by making another Earthbound.
Yeah.
Well, Nintendo has a really. Nintendo has a bad habit of 2 bad habits. One is this weird sense of pride where if they've made a decision, they've made a decision. And it's like, you can be wrong, Nintendo. You constantly are. You have a whole body bag, like a whole closet full of wrong decisions you've made, guys. And 2, they like only do stuff if there's some reason to do it. So like, oh, we're going to make a Harvest Moon when we think there's a reason to make Harvest Moon. It's like, what does that mean, Nintendo? Like someone's got to come like shake Miyamoto and be like, look, I invented particle physics in Harvest Moon. Now we can make cows explode into a million pieces. Like, all right,
the cows are made of yarn now.
Yeah, like, there's something weird. And then Miyamoto's like, he like wakes up from his like mummified state. He's like, make a game. And it's like, okay, now we can do it. And it's like, what is this? You have to like give an offering to Nintendo that's good enough. I like this
implication that Nintendo only makes one game every 500 years as opposed to like 10 times a year.
Yeah, but the problem is they don't like they make a lot of, they won't like touch a lot of old franchises that could do well if they just gave it some like modern love. You don't have to like, I'm not saying you have to make a Harvest Moon that looks like real life and plays like Minecraft and you like all this crazy stuff. You could just make like a Harvest Moon that's not 100 years old.
I'm looking into Nintendo's employee numbers. They have grown a lot over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
they
Switch is doing well.
Yeah, they're at 6,200 employees.
Oh,
I mean, but you have to think that like you divide that a bunch.
They were at 5,000. No, I'm saying this because obviously there's a very small number, but and they're a very small company, all things considered. But they were at 5,000 2 years ago. The Switch must be, they're really expensive.
That must be some inflated numbers. I mean, wait a second,
compared to the Wii U,
that can't be.
That's fair. The thing with Nintendo, as far as I understand it, is that they are really conservative in the how they take their risks. They will take risks, but it's like
they historically sell consoles at a profit, which is unusual.
For example, absolutely.
Because yes, a lot of like stuff like Sony and Microsoft exists so much outside of consoles that they're just like, fuck it, sell every console at a loss, let's just go, and then they make up for it on software sales, or just the fact that they're such a large company that an individual part of their company doesn't even have to be profitable to matter, because capitalism is basically just full of cheaters. Like that's straight up like how Amazon came to be, is by just like cheating at the rules and being like, wait, you don't have to be profitable. How do I compete with someone that doesn't have to be profitable?
Speaking of cheaters, Electronic Arts has 9,300, so they're a Nintendo and a half in terms of size.
That's distressing because they don't have anything to show for it.
They are the worst thing. But their revenue is nowhere near Nintendo.
That's really embarrassing.
Oh, wait a minute. Nowhere near Nintendo. Wait. Let me convert this from yen.
Yeah, Nintendo's just a video game company by and large, I think. I don't know if they have pachinko or not. Like Konami. I know they used to make Hanafuda cards. Like they used to be not gaming. They're older than video games by a huge margin. But I think these days they're a video game company.
Well, look how stupid we are. There is a new Harvest Moon coming out.
Is there?
Yep.
I'm just
Harvest Moon One World.
Not on.
It just takes a little while.
It's being developed by Natsume.
Natsume?
And yeah, Natsume Games and published by Rising Star.
Who is that?
Natsume is the ones responsible for Real Fishing.
Oh. My favorite game.
They've made a lot of games. Sorry.
It's kind of interesting.
Let me look at other games they made.
I'm converting the profits or revenue rather of the companies.
I mean, they've made the classic Bust a Move 4. Harvest Moon
Bust a
2.
Move for what?
PlayStation.
No, I mean like that didn't work.
Oh.
Turn down for what?
They made 4 Real Fishing games. Jesus Christ, really? They made my God, this company doesn't make anything but Harvest Moon and Real Fishing. Jesus. All right. And Hamtaro Little Hamster's Big Adventure. So there you guys go. Yeah, so they are making a new Harvest Moon. It looks like I
will not play it.
I mean, I don't think anybody will.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the trends. Like, I'm surprised they don't respond to the popularity of somebody kind of ripping off their game by making one.
It turns out they just take a little while to respond.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the profits.
Where's the next Undertale game? Since every fucking beloved indie game is just and also some hated ones like Y2K are just another Undertale clone over and over again.
Are you not having a good time?
I mean, not Y2K? Undertale shit.
Mother?
Earthbound. Yeah, Mother. That's what I meant to say. Not Undertale.
I mean, Mother 3? Is that what you're asking about?
Well, they could localize Mother 3, or they could just make a Mother 4. I'm just surprised there's no more Mothers made when they.
Well, I think the guy who made Mother is like.
He's just
not
out.
Interested. Yeah. I mean, it's been so long. What are you gonna do now? Like, you're gonna.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, do you think Mother? I've never played it, but I know more or less how the game is and how it influences other games. Do you think it's more suited for the modern day Sony than it is for the modern day Nintendo?
I don't know.
I don't think it mattered.
I still need to get around to Mother.
I'm at the point now where I don't think consoles matter.
Oh no, I'm not talking about the consoles themselves. I'm talking about just sort of like the development ethos of each company. Because on the one hand, you have the Sony that does The Last of Us and or it doesn't. They don't do it, but they sort of.
Sony companies make cinematic experiences.
Yeah,
is usually what Sony games are, or first published Sony games are, or first party. Sorry, but yeah. Nintendo's more suited for games that are fun.
That's what I'm saying.
That's their MO. And so Mother would fall into that category. It's just supposed to be fun. It's not a movie. And Xbox is, I don't know. It's like a vegetable in the corner, clinging on to life, trying to like make you love it somehow, but you're never going to. And so I don't know what games are made for it. But
Xbox really astonishingly lacks any kind of identity.
Keith, it has fucking Halo. What more do you want? You want personality? You get Master Chief. You want?
I mean, like there's no coherent idea of what like. There's sort of like an idea of like what a Nintendo game is and what a Sony game is these days. And Nintendo never really, Xbox never really found an identity.
Xbox is just whatever you don't feel like you want to put on the PlayStation
they get a hold of sometimes. It's like, here's Rareware, and then here's, I don't know.
That company, even then, it doesn't feel like it belongs on Microsoft consoles. Like, they make games that don't work well because their target demographic is more on Nintendo.
Yeah.
So it's like, why did you buy this company, Microsoft? No one wants these games here. Like, I don't know. It's stupid. I keep seeing Rareware games, and it's like, why did you buy this company? Who's this for? This is not helping you, Microsoft. Just let them go.
I think the problem with the Xbox is that they bought or they made the console with the intention of buying the rights of other companies, right? Like the all the exclusives that Sony used to have, or maybe Nintendo. They just, let's try to get them on our console as well, and that's not a long term that might be a good for in the short term, and the Xbox 360 worked very well because of that. But I think in the long term, it's not sustainable because you can't just keep throwing money at developers. You need to build. Well,
Microsoft doesn't make good plans when they acquisition things. They do it and then go, wait, why? They just they buy things and then poke it with a stick and go, come on, make money. What's wrong with you?
What have we done?
And then when it doesn't make money, they just throw it in the dumpster and go well, it was worthless. Nobody liked it. And it's no. No, you just didn't do anything with it, aka Skype, aka everything. They don't own Zoom.
No, Zune. I mean
Zune. Yeah, the Zune. Yeah. They're like, hey, we made a competitor to Apple. Oh, it's really good. Yeah, but it doesn't make enough money. Throw it in the trash. Well, you could have made something with it. You could have worked on it. It's yeah, but Windows 8.
Oh, Windows 8.
Nobody liked that. And it's well, Windows that's 8 not is our
the fault. Reason. Windows 8 is the reason Apple went mainstream with their
Windows 8 is the reason that so much of their fucking market share just got thrown in the dumpster. They're we made mobile phones. No one liked Windows 8. Well, mobile phones are dead now. It's what?
I had a Windows phone. I liked it.
You put Windows 8 on it, you idiot. Maybe if you didn't do that, it would have been better.
I mean, to be fair, at the time Windows 8 was on the mobile phones, Android was so crap that it kind of was better, actually.
No, I really liked my Windows phone.
Yeah. Windows Phone would have been fine, but Windows 8 wasn't successful, so they got rid of it.
Yeah,
the main menu was this infinite scroll of tiles, and you could change how big the tiles were.
Yeah, it was a
really nice interface, and I've hated every minute of having to have an Apple or Android phone since. And I'm
you can have
these are just
launcher
worse than the
Android.
Windows Phone interface. The other one needs to be nice.
Yeah, Android will at least let you put the Xbox or the Windows Phone interface on there.
Yeah,
Apple won't.
That's all that we really need as consumers of cell phones. We need a launcher for our phone so that we don't have to deal with Android because it's awful.
That's
how I deal with my Android.
At this point, as a phone consumer, I want three things: phone, text messaging, and Google Maps. That's it. I don't give a shit
Google
if it can do
Maps
anything
is
else.
An important job to play.
I need a GPS. I need to be able to get around. But that's it. I don't care if it takes pictures. I don't care if it can turn itself into a self-powered generator and save my planet from mass extinction. I don't give a shit what my phone does. As long as I can call, send a message, and find my way out of a forest. That's it. That's all I need it for. I don't need anything fancy. And then you look, it's can I get a phone like that? It's no. But you can pay us $1,000 for something more. No, I don't. No. I don't want this.
I can just imagine Andrew's phone explaining, yes, master, I can save the world with my superconductors mega powers. And cool. Anyway, text CeeLo.
It's cool. No. Anyways, where's the nearest GameStop? I don't care about saving people. I need to play Fable 3.
Phones are a very interesting milieu for the time people spend doing things, because so many people just spend all their time on their phone. They consume most of their content on their phone. And when I talk content, I mean even books and certainly movies and music and
some people don't have computers,
media.
They just have phones. It's viable. Phones are powerful enough, and they totally can do a lot of stuff, but
just everything's harder. Everything's just several times more annoying than it would be on a computer.
But for a kid, it's a different world than what I had, certainly when I was a kid. Convincing my parents to get me a computer I ended up not actually having to buy it myself because they wouldn't buy it. That's the enormous, it's 2 months of rent or something.
I had the inverse problem where I wanted a computer so badly, and my parents were like, "No, here's a cell phone." I was like, "I don't know. I don't want a fucking stupid phone."
That was my problem as well. Yeah.
I don't call anybody. What the fuck is this? I'm not going to use this
that was
phone.
My problem.
And wow, I pay for a cell phone plan, and I use 50 minutes last month.
I canceled my cell phone plan since I'm working from home.
Really,
I don't have cell phone plan.
really stellar design there, guys. I really need the.
I almost never call. I use my phone relatively little. It's just
why would you
a web browser thing, and it's just a way for people to contact me if they need to, basically.
Yes. That's
it.
I'm
not I'm not sitting on my phone all the time.
Well, and I grew up in a weird position where like
I contact all you guys through Discord on my computer.
Yeah, I grew up like before cell phones, so I lived this life where I didn't need one, and so I either communicated in person or I just didn't communicate, and that worked perfectly for me. And then like phones came into existence, and it was like, well, you need to like call your friends and family. It's like, no, I don't have to, and so I just continued not doing that until it got to like a point where like I had too many people, like there are enough people in my life. I was like, well, I guess I'll message them. And so I text people. And that was it.
You say you use the word need, but do you think that it is, I mean, obviously there are people who need their phone, like from a, not just from work or anything. I mean, like if you take their phone away, they're going to be feeling lost and desperate. But do you think that's a large part of the population? Do you think that's if there were no internet for a week? I mean, World War III would happen, but like in the U.S., forgetting the war that would happen because of it, do you think that people would, that the vast majority of people?
Why would there be a war? I think the world would be like a better place.
I think
if you cut the internet off, people would be like, "Oh my god, I have to interact with humans. Is this what empathy feels like?" Like, do you think a lot of people like start going back, like regressing back to their human form again?
Regressing back into empathic beings.
Yeah, they would go back to being humans and not whatever this weird sludge is that they call themselves now.
I'm asking this because I think two years ago, like I spend all my time on my computer. I'm here.
Oh yeah,
and I
here.
Yeah. But
especially
2 weeks
this
ago, yeah, especially this year for sure. But 2 years ago, I think it was this weekend that I just didn't have internet, and so I couldn't do basically anything, even play games. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna do other stuff, and I found other stuff to do. But for somebody who spends so much time on the computer, I was a little bit surprised with myself that I was able to not go crazy. Do you think? I think people can do that.
I'll just come up with other stuff to do. I have a library of physical books right here, and I can go on walks or whatever. Like I can come up with things to do if my computer stops working or whatever.
I'll draw. I have my 3D printer that doesn't need a computer. I can technically just give it.
There's just a constant thing where like the most appealing things are right here, and also the stuff I need to do to live are right here.
Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff on a computer that I enjoy doing, but it's definitely not my world. Like if someone walked into my house and like burnt my entire house down, and I'd be fine. I'd be like, all right, well, I'll just draw, I guess. Or
I said this because as a
kid,
just
sit down on the sidewalk next to the burning embers, like, guess I'm gonna draw.
Yeah, I mean, what else am I gonna do? I don't got anything else to do. I mean, I don't know. I grew up in that time where like right at the cusp where like technology existed, but not to this extent. So like my life had a lot of technology. I played games all my life, but it wasn't a life, like my Super Nintendo wasn't my lifeblood. Like I didn't go for my Super Nintendo but to play games. And if I wasn't playing games, I had a million other things to do. Just like draw, make stories, play with toys. Like that, my brain can do a lot of other things that aren't technology related. And so when like technology became more and more the focus that I spent my life with, it was still just like, okay, but I can just walk away from it and still have a good time. Like I don't know.
I asked this because as a kid, I remember having a lot of trouble even focusing on like when I got my first computer when I was 14. And from then on, I just played a lot and did stuff on the computer. And once I think my screen went bust and I didn't have a second screen. So I just, sent the screen back to get repaired. And that was like this week or something that I didn't have a computer. And I was mad. I was super mad. Like I couldn't focus on anything. If I wanted to do other stuff, I was like, but I want to play this game or something. I don't know what I was playing. I was probably RPGs or something.
Can't you play music?
No, I didn't. No. What music? I didn't have a... I played it on the computer only. I didn't have.
You don't have any instruments?
Oh no, at the time I didn't actually. No.
Oh,
but yeah, I thought you were saying like play music to listen to it to pass the time.
No, sorry.
I couldn't. I didn't have the computer screen, so because it was bust, and so I couldn't do anything. I recall that week was the worst thing as a kid, and then that's why I'm a little bit surprised a couple of years back when there was basically this blackout in the region here that we didn't have power. Was it power or was it internet? No, I don't know if it was power or internet now. I think it was power. I don't know. I don't remember. The point is, I don't know. Maybe it's because as a kid, just have a harder time focusing. Or, I don't know. Maybe kids are different. Because I think I was different.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I only have memories of my life because of video games. If it wasn't for video games, I wouldn't remember. I don't remember a lot of the stuff that happened in my life that wasn't tied to a video game, because it's just very unimportant. It's very unimportant and useless to me. Like, no, I mean, it's true. It's just how it works. Like, I could tell you, like, I could sit down and like tell you exactly, like the first video game I ever played was Tasmanian Devil on the Game Gear, and it sucked, and it was shitty, and it was hard, and I hated it, and it was fucking infuriating. There's a shitty ass minecart level, and how the fuck do you know which minecart leads you to the right direction? Because it doesn't fucking tell you until you get to the very end where there's either a gap or not a gap. And how the fuck would you know as a kid? You just what? It's stupid. It sucks. But I beat it, and
it was only downhill from there.
I mean, my first video game was a Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah,
which is impossible. Even
I
when
remember
you're
you telling that story.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Like I specifically, I remember going to a funeral for a great grandparent, and I don't remember anything about that great grandparent. Apparently, they were alive for like a good chunk of my childhood, and I don't remember anything about them. But I remember the funeral
up till then, probably.
No, but like I only remember the funeral because after the funeral, we went to a family member's house who had a Super Nintendo, and I played Super Mario on there, and that was the first time I played a Mario game, and so like. That's the only reason I remember this like funeral. Otherwise, I would.
Like, thank God that grandparent died, so I could.
My great grandfather died, and I don't even remember when. People keep telling me like, no, you were there. You were like, you're like 5 or 6. It's like I was. I don't remember that shit at all. And it's like, well, I mean, you weren't. There wasn't games or anything. I was like, I'm not gonna fucking remember it. Like it's not important.
They would say that like there wasn't video games there.
Well, no, that's what I would ask him. It's like, well,
your brain's fucked.
It's like, what did I do when I was there? Did I like?
I mean, when you're a small child, it's pretty normal to not have a proper understanding and respect of like what's going on and the weight of something.
Well, but do not remember. I remember.
The older I get, it was still the same thing. I can remember like for Christmas, I got a PlayStation at my dad's house, and I was super excited because I could finally play some of the platformers I couldn't play, like Bubsy 3D. And I fucking hated Bubsy 3D. What a shitty fucking game. God damn it. Why would anybody fucking make that video game? It's a fucking mistake. But I played the hell out of it on Christmas Day.
Be sure to give Andrew 100,000 subscribers, so he's required to play Bubsy 3D to completion.
I have it. I have it in my house right now in my stupid
we played
book.
Your copy of it for a Let's Try.
I hate it. It's a bad game.
Why haven't I uploaded that one?
Because it's bad. You should forget about it. It's a bad game.
It's not as bad as Sonic 2006.
No, it is. Let history
I would rather play Sonic 06 in an instant
I would rather. Oh my
before
god,
I played
so
Bubsy
bad.
3D.
Bubsy 3D's ass. But I remember it because
Bubsy
my
3D
dad
is a platformer on the PS1 with tank controls, but in like.
But it's a third-person platformer.
Yeah, like
and the third-person camera is on your ass, not above your head, so you can't see where you're jumping to. Fuck!
At the bare minimum, if you're going to force yourself to play a tank controls platformer, you should at least like make yourself play Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Like at least it has like a move set that you like slowly get weirdly comfortable with. You're like, okay, I groove with this. I suddenly get how the fuck to make this work, and then
you could play. You could play Gex, Enter the Gecko. You could play Croc. You could play
Gex
Tomb Raider.
Had tank controls. Did he?
No, I guess
most platformers you just pressed a direction and they ran that way. But Bubsy has tank controls like Tomb Raider does. Where you steer your character,
I don't think
and it's
like,
oh god,
rotating. I like that style.
Gex was more like
gameplay.
Crash.
Yeah, that's true.
Crash Bandicoot. I had that experience with Crash Bandicoot. Honestly,
you could also play Resident Evil. It's probably a better tank control game too.
Yes, it has aged significantly better.
Yeah,
but
I played the first Crash Bandicoot like on a demo CD, like a little demo, and I was like my cousin who had the PlayStation. he would be like, I really want this game. Look at how fun it is. And I would play it. I'm like, and I never really liked it. And then recently, when the first 3 games got re-released, I saw a lot of people say, I was never that good. And I was like, I knew it. I never had a PlayStation, but I knew it was never that good.
For what?
Even though I only played the demo.
For Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah. I don't like it.
I just think people misunderstood what Crash Bandicoot was. It was a 3D platformer made by a company who did not have the ability to do that very well, and so it came out kind of terrible. Like, it had a lot of shitty pixel perfect jumps. And
oh yeah, no, that was the first Patreon series on my channel, was Crash Bandicoot 1, and it was agony.
It's a nightmare game. It's a bad game, and it should have been fixed. But people like had this weird like masochist view of it, where like, no, I accomplished it even though it was really hard, and it should stay that way. And
slippery slide.
And it's like, no, actually, Crash Bandicoot's a shitty platformer. You should be ashamed of yourselves for releasing
Crash
it like
Bandicoot
this.
1, I think, is infamous for its rope bridge, but was way worse was like slippery slide or slippery slope.
Yeah. Slippery slope. Yeah, the ones where the staircases turn
into... Isn't that the second game?
That was hours of my life. Just agony. It's moving platforms and like several nightmare things going on at once, where it's just very, very hard jumps, but it's also like an incredibly long level. And it's also several levels deep into that world. So if you run out of lives, you have to restart that entire world and replay back up to that level. Because that game had lives, and they weren't even per level, they were per world. So like,
that's another thing.
It had like a Donkey Kong style level select screen where you had to restart the entire screen of levels if you ran out of lives. And I wanted to die.
At the time I had Sonic Jam for the Sega Saturn, and that thing has like the first few Sonics, the 2Ds. To the ones, and the Sonic at least on the Sonic Jam, it has the continues. So if your lives go, if you can just continue. It's basically lives are meaningless because you just continue from the beginning of the level. And I remember, I don't know if my cousin had it the whole game or something, because I think wasn't there like a polar bear or something that you jumped on to get more lives?
I don't know if it gives you more lives. I remember there's a polar bear. Like as an enemy.
Yeah, I think he got the game or something. Maybe, I don't know. My memories are hazy. It's been a long time.
But yeah, there's
I never really understood why it didn't have continues. You lost your lives, just continues. More continues.
I mean, Spyro had the same problem too, though. Spyro, when even the reignited one, where it's like some of the jumps are just ass. Where you're like, why did you do this? Why did you make this jump so like specifically perfect? Where like, if you did not jump from this exact part and press the fly at this exact arc, you won't make it. And it's like, my bad. I'm sorry. I'll do it over again. Let me just walk over here. Oh, I fucked it up again. All right, let me just walk over. It's like, okay, well, there's a reason that like Mario, for example, doesn't have pixel perfect jumps. It's because it sucks and nobody enjoys it. And it's a really bad design choice for a platformer where the entire game is about you enjoying jumping and platforming. If you don't enjoy the platforming part of a platformer, you fail to make a good game.
Speedrunners entered the chat.
It's just infuriating. I don't like those old PlayStation games that like, hey, we're branching into this new 3D platforming space. We kind of fucked up, but it's okay because it's a brand new medium. We're trying, and then like years later, it's like, wasn't it fun because it sucked? It's like, no. You're taking the wrong thing from this. It was fun because, like, I enjoyed Crash Bandicoot because it was funny, wacky, silly, and exciting. I didn't like it because it sucked. Yeah, like I didn't like it because it sucked to play. I liked it because it was fun.
Sonic,
like the actual.
He's got an attitude.
That's it, and that's the thing.
That's
like
his whole selling point.
Sonic
those characters were all anti-Marios. Like, oh, he's so family friendly and squishy and smiley. It's like, oh yeah, here's my
Sonic
extreme
taps his food.
Crash Bandicoot. His name's violent and he's got shorts and does a weird Tasmanian devil spin attack. And then Sonic's impatient with you. God, when are you gonna get onto this? I'm such a punk, but like in a really family friendly way that won't worry your parents.
Yeah, Spyro is just a very
unless they watch the adverts,
very violent and gung ho dragon who wants to just beat the crap out of all the bad guys, and he's like, I'll take them. And all the other dragons are like, whoa, Spyro, I love your enthusiasm, but like you're a baby, stop.
You're a baby.
I don't know. Yeah, that was the early 2000s, right? That was the rebellious phase of technology. Everything was like going against the grain. I don't know.
That's because parents still weren't consuming technology. The problem is when parents started consuming technology and when the kids became parents, then things needed to grow up. And now we have
games about dads.
They needed to grow up because I would really appreciate it if some of these like technology could grow up. I'm getting tired of these baby shit. Like Apple products fair, is an embarrassing example.
Oh, just you wait until next year when they remove the charger cable. No, wait, the charger port. That's what they're going to remove.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they
already removed the charger cable. Did that already?
Well, they don't give you a charge. Well, they give you a charge. I think they give you the cable. They just don't give you.
Do they give you the cable? Oh,
yeah, I think they give you the cable. Well, they have to because otherwise, how do you transfer the files from your old phone? I guess you could do it over iCloud, but like, no.
Yeah.
But they don't give you a charger. Like they don't give you the actual charging block, like the brick, because you already have one. They want to reduce waste.
That is a lie. They wanted to increase profits. They wanted to reduce waste. They would release only one phone per year or per 10 years.
If they,
not 10 years, that seems a little bit exaggerated.
But, well, phones are a bad example. Phones are
they are super wasteful. Like all of the phones.
Well, yeah, you're creating new. Well, that's because you're creating new phones every year when there's not a necessity to, because you're not actually advancing the technology fast enough to compensate for for the amount of people buying them. So you create a new Apple phone. You're like, wow, look we did it, guys. Now the CPU is 0.5% faster, and you're like, oh shit, man, I'm gonna be able to play Candy Crush in like 30 seconds rather than 35 seconds. I better fucking buy this new phone. I don't want to miss out.
You add on top of that the right to repair issues. You add on top of that all the proprietary bullcrap that they add so that they can increase profits.
That's all secondary. That's all secondary to the problem of like you bought the same phone again, you dummy.
That's true. Yeah.
Like you just literally bought the same phone again. It just has a new number next to it. And you're like, yeah, but it's got like the thumbprint opening. It's like, what? Wow.
Or the camera zooms in 3 times instead of 2.
Yeah, the camera takes 4K video. Do you have a 4K do you have a 4K editor at home? Do you have a 4K television that you can play? Well, do you have a 4K television that supports Apple Play so you can connect your phone to the TV? Or do you need to go buy an $80 adapter so you can plug it into the TV? It's like,
I hate it.
It's like, yeah,
it's so bad.
Hey,
yeah.
here's a wake-up call. You're a dumbass. Stop buying new technology every fucking year. Like, I have the same phone, and it's like almost 3 years old now, and guess what? It still works pretty good. And guess what? I make videos on it, and I can film it in 1080 60 FPS, and that's all you need. Because I guarantee you that 4K monitors are not standard issue around the globe yet. That's not a common thing.
They're so expensive still.
Yeah, they're still way too expensive. Because 2, 4K is better for television, which again, I am not going to make no one watches YouTube videos on their television because they would rather watch it on their phone or their computer. You don't watch YouTube on your TV. That's like the smallest majority.
Gross. Maybe
some people do, but it's a very small majority of people because it's not a friendly environment to do it on unless you have a Chromecast or a smart TV. And again, even then, are you going to be able to stream a 4K video? No, you're not. You're going to most people don't have internet to stream a 4K video. Most of them have barely enough to stream 1080. It's like
what's is the US still stuck in time for the last 5 years in terms of internet?
You have to take a dart, throw it at a map, and I can tell you where, what point in history it's stuck in. Because
I know there's some areas obviously have good internet, but
yeah, you throw a dart in Utah, and you're like, what the hell is broadband to you guys? Is it like the shit where a turtle walks across the screen, and you're like, wow, look, a page loaded? Or is you talking about Southern California, where oh, you guys have fiber? That's cute. No, you don't. You have a weird super blast broadband where it will sometimes give you 500 megabytes a second, but then most of the time it gives you 200. You chump. But yeah, pay us gigabyte prices, and then you go to Seattle, and they have actual fiber, and it costs actual less money than
because it's cheaper. Fiber is actually cheaper than DSL.
Well, yeah, but again, it's the US is a mistake in terms of infrastructure. So you have to pick a place and then go down into it and go well, okay, it's probably not good. But some place it might be worse, some places not. I mean, we recently had to do the law where we had to say that broadband was 25 megabytes down and up, or no, down only. So
you had to define broadband. I remember seeing something.
Yeah, we had to define broadband because people were like living in dial-up era still, and we were like, "Hey, could you guys like get the fuck up with the times?" It's like, "Well, they have internet." It's like, "No, they have dial-up," and it's like, "That's good enough." It's like, no, they need literal internet.
I was curious, so I checked the data. So,
okay, what's the data?
Of my audience, 42.4 watch on computer %.
53 on my side.
Yeah. Mobile phone is 34.7 and tablet is 7.8. So you can combine those to be like 42.5 or something. Then TV is 7.6% and game console 7.2%. So I would combine those to be 14.8%. Consoles just are on TV, but without a smart TV.
Yeah. I'm at 11.4 on TV plus console. So your audience is
a decent chunk of people.
But I would say that it's not. It is very unlikely it is worth recording or making content in 4K right now. Like,
you say that, but Keith is talking about the views, right?
I mean, I just think of Donkey when he's like, I just record everything in 480p and then edit it and upload it in 1080p. And like no one's ever noticed, like, because no one actually notices video quality.
No, because no one has that.
When I finally had, because Vegas got moved from being Sony to being Magic's, and they finally had GPU acceleration, so I could finally render 1080p 60 videos without having it take so long that it would take all of my time, and I could never get recordings done and so on. And I switched everything to being 1080p 60 on my channel. No one noticed. Like, not a single comment on it. And people fucking nitpick every single detail of every single video I ever upload. No one fucking noticed the day I switched to 1080p 60.
Yeah.
I'm noticing that the TV watch time is double everybody else. Which makes sense because people are...
It's more hassle to change anything. So you just set it and go, and it's like, all right, it's just going to run.
I watch streaming on television more frequently because it's live content, and so there's not a necessity for me to like, I'm not changing anything, I'm not going through and I'm like, it's not switching from streamer to streamer. I'm watching this one consistent, like I specifically watch like people who stream all day so that I could just leave it on and it's there and I can look over and be like, oh man, look at that good play he did, and then move on. But like YouTube, I hate YouTube on a television. It's just it never is.
It's a lot of couples. You get a lot of comments about how like they were watching with their wife or their SO or whatever.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of couples are watching YouTube on their TV. Although Stephanie watches everything on her TV. Like I'll just be walking by. They go to use the restroom and I just hear like Quentin reviews blaring out of the room and stuff like that.
Well, I suppose it depends on the setup. Like if I had.
I mean, at the end of the day, everybody has TVs still, but almost nobody has cable anymore. Like, well, that's what the TVs are for now, so you watch YouTube.
That's true, I guess. Oh my god, I cannot wait. God, I can't wait till cable just finally dies.
I'd watch more stuff on a TV if I had space for one. Like, if I had a living room.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I watch all of my videos on my left screen. And if I had space and money for a big TV where my left screen is, maybe I just watch things on that TV. But that's not really watching TV, or even at that point, it's not even watching on TV because I'm just sitting down on a desk. It's like, I think it should be TV if you're sitting down on a sofa and moving about a bunch or something, and if other people can walk in on you as well. Otherwise, it's not
the value of watching stuff on TV is generally the fact that you can focus entirely on that one thing and not be multitasking and sitting at your computer and so on. That's why it's important to also put your phone away when you're at a TV.
I think
like you're supposed to be letting yourself have space and actually just experience this thing. Like it's a home theater experience.
The value of a TV is that you can focus on other stuff. You can be like, ironing your clothes or calling on the phone, moving about, cooking.
I can multitask.
Well, that's what people do with
computer.
YouTube, and so they have. So when they're running YouTube on their TV, it's often like for multitasking.
Yeah, for that, yeah.
because it's running on the TV near where they're dealing with like their cooking or whatever. A lot of people multitask.
That's why I watch anime on my TV, because it's the time where I'm focusing. I'm sitting down and I'm paying 100% attention to my television, and that's
people get weirdly mad if they can't fully experience the entire Let's Play audio-wise. And I'm always like confused. I get very confused. Because like what comes to mind is that when you play Ori and the Blind Forest and any cutscene happens, it's like and it's like in the fucking subtitles are like Ori did the thing with the sad stuff, and like it's just every single time it's that, and like people get mad I didn't read the subtitles out for them in English, and I'm like, what are you getting out of the other 99.9% of this playthrough where those cutscenes aren't happening, where I'm just like doing I'm not like podcasting, like it's just me doing platforming. Like how is this a good audio experience out of the rest of the time, where your only complaint is that the fact that I didn't read the subtitles out loud, it was such a problem that you needed to like you need to leave a comment for just that one thing. Like it was worth getting that out of your way, but you couldn't go out of your way to read the subtitles when they were on the screen.
God bless you, Hades, for doing 100% voice acting. I appreciate you so much. I would never want to read any of that shit.
Keith, they hear the platforms in your frustration in the voice. They don't need to see it. They can hear it.
They just want to hear me make vague noises and not understand why it's happening or what I'm having trouble with. They just want to hear vague noises.
I watch some Let's Plays that are like that, yeah.
It's so
That's what
weird.
I imagine people listen to me for. It's just
like I get it. Like you hear Aaron Hansen yell at a thing and stuff, and like like I want to see the thing that he's yelling at. But like I look at the thing whenever something's like if I'm half paying attention, it's still like whenever something half note happens, I look at the screen because I want to experience. I don't want to hear him vaguely yelling in a vacuum. I want to see the thing he's yelling at. So same thing is like if something comes up and it's like it's subtitled, I'm gonna look at the screen to read the thing because I want to know what it is. Apparently, if I want to know what it is, then who is this person? I don't understand who they are. I'm so confused by other people and their use cases for content.
Do you guys know Electro Boom?
No.
Okay, then I'll explain it to you. But before I explain it, Electro Boom is basic. I'll tell you, Electro Boom is the best channel to just have on the background. We're not even paying attention to the television. You just have a playlist of his videos. And what does he do? Electro Boom focuses on joke videos where he attempts to repair electrical equipment and gets shocked multiple times. And he screams a lot. There's a lot of zapping, and it's very funny to watch. But it's also very funny to just have on the background while you're doing other things. So if anybody in the audience knows what I'm talking about, then try that because it's really funny.
I think of like what's that kid that does inventions shit?
Oh,
he's related to he's involved nearby in some way with Harry Osmond.
Yeah,
I guess Harry Osmond also does that.
I forget his name.
There's also that kid. He's like, he always sounds kind of angry.
I don't know.
There's a lot of YouTubers out there. There's so many.
Oh yeah. I just say
it's not Harry Osmond. It's William Osmond.
William Osmond. There's a kid.
I forget his name. It's
directly related to him.
I think it starts with like a Mark. I think it's like Mark or something, right?
I found them at like the same time. You might be thinking Mark Rober, which is a very different, or at least not that like family of channels.
Hold on. I'm gonna pull it up right here.
YouTube's so big. They're I don't,
Michael is his name.
Michael. There's some video I saw recently.
Michael Reeves. That's his name. Michael Reeves is the kid that makes he makes like dumb. He's a kid who apparently has an engineering degree apparently nothing to do with it, but to.
Like he has these videos where it'd be like, you fucking commenters, you have just the worst ideas for inventions. So anyway, I made them.
Yeah.
Like that's like half his videos. Yeah. It's like, all right, this is fun. There's a decent number of videos
the
like
one
that.
Is like, I'm gonna make a robot that orders stuff off Amazon based on your guys' tweets.
I think Mark Rober might be in that territory, but I can't remember what he is.
Like,
but there's background scientist
based on it. There's a lot of stuff like that. Whenever I like watch stuff on like streaming stuff on television, it's always Overwatch. Like I'm just watching an Overwatch stream because I don't. Yeah. It's a game I don't have to be engaged in.
I'm subscribed to like Your Overwatch and SVB and Salty Fish and what's the other guy? What's the guy that does the really long dry coaching EO Stux? He does like the coaching videos.
Yeah, I've been watching.
I'm subscribed to 4
Iman
channels just
lately.
for Overwatch. It just happens. You get once you get like fully invested in a game in a long-term way that's beyond just like I'm doing a playthrough. You start subscribing to channels about it. Like I used to be subscribed to Pokemon Go channels. Back when I was
still play Pokemon.
Yeah, like there was a
Pokemon Go.
Well, when I did, I think my last burst ended like a year and a half ago. So I've had like 2 sort of sprees with the game, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But the last time I found like there's this one guy that does like Pokemon Go travel log. Like it's like a surprisingly slightly high production value, high effort like travel vlogging channel where it's like Pokemon Go interspersed with him like fucking like revitalizing. What's the word for like when you redo like a vehicle or whatever?
Oh, restoring,
I guess something like that.
Rescuing.
He's kind of like restoring like a, and like
there's also rescue for cars.
He's like restoring and refurnishing and refurbishing or whatever, like a towable like trailer because he's gonna like because he can like travel in the trailer, and he's like it's all of his like travel goals while on top of playing Pokemon Go, and he like hops from country to country and meets up with other Pokemon Go like YouTubers and goes to events and everything, but it's all about. Well, it's all like oh, and then here's the latest update about Pokemon Go, the same way that like play like your Overwatch would do, and like covering events and things. It's like, and it's just like it's weirdly like there's channels where I'm like I'm not necessarily getting advice from this, and it doesn't necessarily, and it's like it kind of has a narrative from episode to episode in a weird vloggy sort of way, but it really is like you just like if you're just playing a certain thing a lot, you start just like seeking out other people that are experiencing it, and like in many ways that's also the role that we fulfill for certain games. You have people that will obsessively watch like 100 playthroughs of the same game just continuously, and then get really mad if yours doesn't match up with their expectations and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm sorry, I just existed in a vacuum. You put me in a context, but like I think of like Zero Escape fans, for example. Like how they'll bounce from playthrough to playthrough, and then they get really mad when ours doesn't have lockstep opinion with all the other ones and so on. It's like, I'm sorry, we're just us. We didn't agree to be on your list.
Also, you're in the wrong neighborhood if you're looking for positive Zero Escape content.
You're in the wrong neighborhood.
We don't do that here. Yeah. This house is a negative Zero Escape house.
I don't even remember what channel that was anymore, but like his videos were weirdly addictive. It took me back to like the old days of like watching a bunch of vlogging channels in like 2007.
I guess I'm trying to think. I've never really had a really a deep, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a deep addiction to YouTube. It's always been just looking up random things. There's not really, it's very rare that I find people that I like consistently watch videos of or like wait on bated breath for. Yeah, like I'll watch stuff from people I like when I get around to it, but like when it comes out, I'm not like jumping onto it and watching it immediately. I'll like, oh, all right, I guess I'll make some time. Like the Jenny Nicholson video, and I watched it over the course of multiple walks. So I didn't like sit down and watch the whole thing.
It's also a video and you were also in it. I'm like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, like I got up in the morning, I took Shadow out, and I was listening to it, and then I came back and just stopped watching it, and just went and did other stuff, and then went out for a walk again, continued listening to it, and then
Jenny Nicholson's just a fantastic channel.
It's but it's like it's not a channel I need to like.
It's like Stephanie also listens to her at work too now, and it's like it's just. She's so fucking entertaining, even if you don't really care about the things she's talking about. She has like a way of discussing.
And she also does talk about the randomest of things. So you can't care about everything.
That video, Keith?
Yeah, it's 2.5 hours long about a show I've never watched. Fucking Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, I was like, and I was kind of watching it, and I was like, wow, okay, yeah, this is dumb. I never would watch this show. But I was like out, and I was walking. I visibly like laughed out loud at the point where she was like, "Oh, there's another sticky note underneath this one. oh, that's where my racism one was. Like, oh my god! I was like, oh shit! It was like a delayed punch where I was like, oh fuck!
Yeah, she's like, oh, I wonder about this. Oh, she's the only African American character in the entire show, in the entire cast. Really, like, I wonder what the wiki says about her. And then the wiki's like, there's no discernible personality from her flashbacks. Oh, okay. Like, there's so many weird, like hilarious moments. Then she's like, she has this such a specific, like, carefully calibrated, like, deadpan that makes everything weirdly hilarious.
Yeah, that's
the editing as well.
Yeah,
it's like, for sure she writes it, but like, I think the editing
there's a style of joke where it can sneak up on you in a way that makes it funnier. Like, that's why why I was addicted to Gold Vision videos for a while. Is just be like, he would say stuff that's funny, but specifically undersell it, and so it would sneak up on you a couple seconds after you heard it, and it would just destroy you.
Yeah, I like that. I like that kind of humor. I like the ones that like, or I go like, oh, okay, yeah, I get what you're going for, and then they like punch you with a different joke on the side. And you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize you had that ready to go. Oh my god.
Her video about the Last Jedi plot. Made up plot. That is still one of my favorite videos. Oh, you
mean like the fan fiction? Different...
I don't know if it's the the different version.
You're talking about the one for Rise of Skywalker, where I mentioned this recently in a video because it haunts me that, like,
it's so funny. It was unbelievable.
What happened is there was a novelist or something that would make like either screenplay. He'd either do the novelizations of movies into books for Star Wars, or he wrote some of the like alternate universe like stuff, which is all fan fiction basically. And he was part of the crew that's so mad about Force Awakens and Last Jedi, so he was gonna write a version of Rise of Skywalker that would fix the series of all of its perceived flaws, which I'm like, I can't even agree that these are flaws in the first place in most of the cases, so it's frustrating. And what was so infuriating is that like, that video was hilarious, even though it kept showing all these like gross parts of the fandom of like, oh god, this is the things that people are mad about. Like, they're mad that a female character is powerful and blah 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 blah. And I'm so exhausted by these things. But what was most infuriating is how much of that, like, I watched that video like right before I watched the real movie, and so much of it actually happened. And I was like, no. Like, the first scene of the movie immediately had a thing from that, and I'm like, oh god. Please don't let Rey turn out to be your droid. Please. Because everything else is coming true. Please.
That didn't happen, did it?
No, that didn't happen, but Vat of Snoke's did. And I'm like, oh, God. I can't believe the Vat of Snoke's is real.
I'm playing... I just keep having this conversation, though, but, like, I never watched any Star Wars movie, but every time people say, oh, you never watched it? Like, because I'm playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 right now, and so every time I mention it on stream, people go, oh, how can you? And like, I've never had anybody who enjoys
it is really
movies.
Funny that you're playing KOTOR while having never watched Star Wars.
It's a great game. It's a brilliant game.
Yeah, like, there's just a lot of context.
Yeah, that's impressive.
It's fine. You can understand all the things, no problem.
Yeah, it's just usually that's the reason you're playing the game.
Yeah, fair. But like every person that I know that likes the movies, like they're not that great. Can anybody tell me? Watch the movies; they are great. Nobody can tell me that, so I'm like, I don't.
It does vary from person to person a lot. Like there are super fans that are obsessed with every single movie and think they're practically perfect, except for maybe one or two that they specifically fixate on as being the bad ones. And like, obviously everyone's like super different from person to person. Yeah, and there's a lot of prequel apologists that love those movies and they love the original series, they're furious at the new trilogy. And there's people that think that the old trilogy and the new trilogy are the best ones, or at least they might have thought that until Skywalker came out. And then there's a lot of mixed bag stuff. By and large, I think the first three movies are very watchable, and the second one's pretty great. And I think The Last Jedi is the best movie in the entire series, whereas Force Awakens, which was their first reboot movie, was just like a kind of just like an awkward, like, hey, this is kind of enjoyable, but it's kind of just like a Marvel movie where it's just kind of just fun, but there's not much to it. And it's kind of just retreading ground.
That's the other thing. I stopped watching movies when the superhero trend started picking up in cinema. So like this new wave of cinema that happened over the last 10 years has completely passed me by. Apart from, I mean, I've watched some movies recently, but like not many. So it's just, that's another thing. The trends today are completely outside of my, curriculum, as it were.
Yeah.
Superhero movies, I'm like, no. I watched Iron Man. Does that count? It does.
I mean, does it count as a superhero movie? Yes.
Yeah, but it's
Obviously.
like really, it's one of the first few ones.
Yeah.
Because anything like Marvel Avengers and all, like, what are they avenging? What is this? I don't care about this.
I don't know what they did. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know what they were doing in the original story, but they're called that in the new story because they were called that in the original story. That's the reason.
Yeah, I got
it's
the
just their
impression,
name at this point. But I don't know why they were called Avengers the first time, if there even was a reason. It's just a name.
Yeah, it's just
for
a cool
team.
name.
There's a lot of superhero team names, with obviously Justice League and the Avengers being the most famous ones. But then there's just like a bunch of random fucking new ones everywhere. The New Mutants or whatever the fuck. And it's just whenever you have an ensemble comic, you have to call the comic something that you think people will buy. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's so steeped in marketing and like I feel like it really corrupts. Not like from a ideological perspective, although maybe that too, but that's not really what I'm talking about. Like it just stinks of, you want to sell me stuff? No, don't. Transformers is bad enough. Don't make everything else the same. Because Transformers, obviously, because it's a movie about toys.
Yeah,
like,
that was
not the other way around.
The moment that the guidelines for advertising and cartoons were relaxed by the Reagan administration, instantly you had a bunch of stuff like Transformers that were just shows that were designed just to be a toy commercial. Like any level of quality or storytelling or whatever the fuck people latched onto over the years was completely incidental because its entire job was just to advertise toys as effectively as possible.
Yeah, but Daddy Optimus
to the point
Prime.
where one of the most like God damn it. One of the most memorable, like, emotional scenes of a lot of people's childhoods watching that shit was the fact that they killed Optimus Prime. And it's like, oh my god, what an emotional thing. And it's like, the only reason they killed Optimus Prime was because they wanted to sell new toys. So they killed off all the existing toy line to replace them with a new toy line. And they advertised it via a movie. It just didn't work because the new guys weren't nearly as cool as the old guys. I think it was called Rodimus Prime, which is a stupid name.
Hey, whoa.
It sounds like he's that's like Rodimus Prime is what I call my dick.
He's also red and yellow. Oh, that's not a good combination.
Well, that's because it's Hot Rod.
What is he?
And Hot
One
Rod
Punch
became
Man?
Rodimus Prime.
Rodimus Prime. What a horrible and incredibly lewd sounding name.
I mean, what about Maximus Prime?
Some prime rod you got there. Like, how the fuck did that make it in?
Maximus Prime is one. That's a great one too.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like something, at least. It's just nothing. It's a nothing name. Maximus Prime. It's just incredibly boring.
Optimus Prime is just better by default. It's red and blue.
Oh.
Like,
it's America. Even though he's
America.
an alien.
You can't beat that.
It's a Japanese cartoon. What the hell are you guys talking about?
He was, but it didn't always take place in the United States.
No.
Well, also, I don't think they are Japanese cartoons.
No. Transformers is a Japanese product. Do not misunderstand.
They're called a different thing. It's a different show.
I thought is Hasbro Japanese?
No,
you're confused. There's a show that it's made after.
Yeah, Hasbro's American.
They're a rip-off of Japanese toys. They're a rip-off of Japanese toys. I remember learning about this, but let's see. No, they began as Japanese. You're right.
Yes.
A toy line called Microman. Oh, that's why. It's a mixture of all the things that we're saying.
Produced by Hasbro Toy Company and Japanese toy company Takara Tomy.
Yeah.
So the mixture of all the things we're saying. Yeah, both. Yeah.
Well, they were imported, so they were made in Japan first and then imported by Hasbro to America. So Hasbro was in charge of distribution and creation of the American line. But Japan was the one who started this shit. Because you think Americans invented Transformers? We're not that fucking interesting. Japan's the one that makes cool mechs and shit. Japan, if there's something with mechs, it's always Japan. It's always Japan that makes mechs.
That's
like,
true. Also, Microman.
Country made Gundam. You think
Microman is also a pretty lewd name.
You want to know what America made? We made G.I. Joe. Wow,
that is
G.I. Joe.
That was so innovative, so interesting. Could you tell me like who the hell any of the characters are? Because they're all just stupid.
Whenever I try to think of G.I. Joe, I end up just thinking of Stretch Armstrong.
The enemies of G.I. Joe were more interesting than G.I. Joe. Like, how did you fuck this up, America? It's
G.I.
so
Joe
odd.
was
Like,
no. That's on purpose though. G.I. Joe was designed to be unremarkable.
Yeah.
Well, then
villains
why would you make Cobra Command?
Interesting.
Cobra Command was amazingly interesting. They had like cool villains. They had cool trucks and cars. They had like cyber technology and stuff. And then G.I. Joe's like, I got a grenade. I'm gonna blow it up. It's like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
G.I. Joe was called Action Force in Portugal, and I liked
Action Force.
Action Force.
I never had any, but I liked the adverts. That's
just what a nothing name.
Yeah.
It just doesn't translate G.I. Joe.
I mean, an action is already a force.
No, I think it was literally called. He was called Action Man, right? He wasn't Action Force. It was Action Man.
Action Man.
I think that was it. I'm looking at the wiki page. It says also known as Action Force. And no, of course not.
Action Man.
Is it Action Man?
Yeah,
Let me see.
I don't like that.
Obviously, it's all in Portuguese. Action Man, compra já, or something like that.
Oh, that works.
I don't know.
Action Man doesn't. Action Man sounds too wordy.
It was licensed by from Hasbro, so it was the same company, right?
Yeah, Hasbro's the one who produced it.
Yeah. Okay, so it's probably either sort of the same thing or renamed or whatever.
Hasbro's in charge of like most children's toy shit,
and they're also really
what do they got?
Crap.
They've got My Little Pony. They've got Nerf Play-Doh, Monopoly,
Nerf Play-Doh,
Transformers.
I accepted that was just one thing. Nerf Play-Doh. Just
Nerf the Play-Doh.
Horrifying, shitty like Play-Doh darts that you jam into your Nerf gun and they get jammed. And like it only fires once in the entire lifespan of the gun, and then you just like can never get it to work again. You gotta fill it with like flour or like baby powder so that it doesn't stick to the gun.
Oh my god!
You have to.
Is that a real thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god! I didn't realize that Hasbro's also in charge of making Disney products too. Good God, this company's like
they are really bad. They are very, very bad.
They also make Lincoln Logs. Oh, sorry, they call them classic farmhouse building sets now. Wow. Oh no, they're still called Lincoln Logs. Wait, why? Yeah, Lincoln Logs, dude. Lincoln Logs is shit. I had so many Lincoln Logs Lego as a kid because my grandparents had them as a kid. They're like, we got all these Lincoln Logs. You want them? I was like, fuck yeah. I built like a giant skyscraper out of Lincoln Logs. This is great.
It's like Lego, but worse.
No, they're way better. You can
I don't know.
They're so much more.
They're basically just long log things that had like little divots they could stack at certain configurations.
But you can make they're so much more rewarding to break. Oh god, when you build like super tall, and then you just like bust them down.
I never know where an Andrew sentence is going to end.
It's great, but Legos are kind of frustrating because it takes a lot of effort to make Lego stuff. Like you have to snap them in together. So when you build something big, you're like, I don't want to break it. It took a lot of time. Lincoln Logs just like stack, done.
But
punch.
Lincoln Logs,
like
they're really limited though.
Knock it all over.
They're really limited. You can mostly only make houses with them.
No, he just liked to destroy his Lincoln Log constructions.
Yeah,
he wanted to go rampage on them.
I did that with the Lego as well. It's just
because Legos are all stuck together, so you're gonna hurt yourself. If you
it's not as fun,
or it's just not gonna all come apart like a Jenga tower.
If you're big brained Andrew, you make a Lego sword and use it to cut down your Lincoln Log house.
Yeah,
there you go. You've now created the perfect playtime.
Yeah, I liked Legos growing up, but I didn't like toys. Like I never like played Imagine
like action
with
figures
like an action
like
figure and like and they no and they're doing the thing. Like I don't relate to those scenes in movies because I never did that as a kid, but I did like building stuff with Legos.
I did like action figures, but only because I guess I had to do it because my sister played with Barbies, and so if there were times where I
beat her at that.
Well, yeah. So like, I had to.
I am the superior toy man.
Well, because obviously she wasn't going to play video games, so I had to play Barbies with her. Her parents' command.
Cooperation.
And so I would have to like invent. So she would be,
Disgusting.
like most annoying dumb children. They'd be like, "I'm bored. You make up something." And so I have to make up a story for what's going on. And so you just like create dumb stuff like, "Oh, this girl just showed up into town from space." She's like, "From space?" I was like, "Yeah, from space." What about God. Ken? Is he from space or is he from underground? She's like, "No, he's from this house." Like
your sister did.
Yeah, like you have to like. Go for it.
She did to you basically what I did to my sister, and that's why she didn't play with the dolls, because I didn't play with dolls. I'm older, so I basically forced her to come up with stories so I could just play around and all that.
Yeah, I don't know that. So I had experience making like dumb stories with toys. So I was like, oh, I can do this like on my own. So I had like, I think I had a few, but it was mostly like at my grandparents' house, not at my house. Like my house just was my Super Nintendo, and that was it. I didn't really have toys because I didn't want them. Like I don't.
Yeah, because Nintendo was better.
Yeah, why would I want toys? Yeah, I could get like hundreds of hours
too early.
Well, I mean that's again, my parents gave them to me. It's not like
not
like that.
There's no too early for video games.
It's like some devil walked into my like bedroom one night and was like, "Hey kid, you want a Super Nintendo? You're never gonna play video. You're not gonna play toys again." My parents were like, "No, devil, get out of here! Not with your stupid Super Nintendo." Too late. He already took the controller. He signed the contract. Just flew out the window. It's like, fuck, it's over. Andrew's stuck.
Yeah, no, once I got a NES, it was like, well, the seal's broken.
Yep. Yeah, like what do you?
It's also fucked up my timeline mentally of how video games, like when video games happened. Because
you're behind the times?
Well, it always fucks with me, to look back and be like, wait, when I was born the year the Super Nintendo came out. But I was given a Nintendo when I was like 4 or 5, I think. So at that point, I think the NES was like 10 years old. And I was like, wait, what? That like fucks up my entire timeline of when things happened.
That's also realistic as well for a 5-year-old. It's old consoles for you because they are expensive.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Like my first game was like Ninja Gaiden, and then I had like the Mario Duck Hunt combination cartridge and track and field. Like we had the pad. It was like a track and field pad. I don't really remember playing the game. I just remember the pad. Like that's all I can remember about the game was like, oh, it's a weird peripheral, just like how Duck Hunt had the light gun, which we had.
Yeah. There's
that how was does like this work? It's magic.
My first system.
It is very ingenious.
Like my first console, because I had my Game Gear at my mom's house, and then I had so I was playing that a lot. And so to counteract it, because my parents are divorced, my dad needed something to make me want to come over there. And so his reason was like a Sega Master System, because he found one for cheap. Because it's an old console by that point. And so that was like my experience. My first experience with a console was like a Sega Master System. So
come on over, by that kid, time, I've got like, cool toys.
I mean, that's literally how divorced parents work. Is usually like they're competing. They're competing for your love with objects, but you're just sitting there like, I wish you guys loved me. Like, they're just like constantly throwing stuff at you. It's like, do you want to play with me? He's like, I don't have time. I got to get money to buy you more stuff so I'm better than your other parents. Like, I just want to interact with you. Why are you like this? All right, I guess I'll just play more Bubsy 3D on my PlayStation. Thanks, Dad.
This story was already sad.
I have like so few memories of hanging out with my dad. I have so many memories playing video games at my dad's house. Like many memories. I have like all my memories of my dad are just bad memories. And then it's like, yeah, but I also played like the Nintendo. That was pretty cool. He wasn't there for that, of course, but like I played that. It's like all these like, oh, I played Sega Genesis at my dad's house. He wasn't there. It was because he went to work and his girlfriend didn't let me in the house, so I had to go outside. And eventually the kid next door had a Sega Genesis. He's like, you want to come inside and play? And I was like, sure. And so I played Sega Genesis.
It wasn't even your dad's house. It was your dad's neighbor.
Yeah.
What a fucking plot twist.
I just wasn't allowed in the house so I had my PlayStation, but I couldn't play it because I couldn't go in the house because his girlfriend didn't want me in the house. And so I had to stay outside. And so I was just sitting outside on the lawn, and then there was a kid that was in the neighborhood, and it was like, do you want to like play games? It's like, yes, I would love to play video games. He's like, I have a Sega Genesis. Like, I'm there. Let's go. And so I'd play Sega Genesis at that kid's house. And then I would run back out at a certain time because I knew my dad would get home. But if I wasn't outside when he got home, I would get in trouble because he would think I got kidnapped. And that was a problem for him because he'd have to explain it to my mom. So like I would get out there in time. But yeah.
Did you ever tell your dad?
What? That I was playing at the
no, that
house?
his girlfriend was like kicking you out, but also you'd be in trouble if you weren't there when he got home. But you also couldn't be in that. Like, what the fuck?
No, like that was such an awkward situation. There was like a time where there's this time where I was like playing.
So
I was
obviously fucked up.
I was like sitting there. I was sitting and I was playing games at that house, and him and his girlfriend were like arguing for like 2 hours straight. And I was just like, just playing games. It's fine. And I came down like, it was like 8 o'clock at night. And I was like, are we going to eat dinner? And like, cause I hadn't eaten because I'm not allowed in the house during like the day. So I didn't eat lunch. And so I was coming down. I was like, are we going to eat dinner? I'm kind of hungry. And, and my dad was like, what are you hungry? You had lunch. I was like, I didn't have lunch. What the hell are you talking about? And like his girlfriend's like, you had lunch. Don't lie to him. I was like, I didn't have lunch. I'm never allowed inside the house.
And so he found out. And
so he got mad, and they argued more, and I didn't get to eat that night.
So you like made it worse.
Yeah, I made it worse. It's like, God fucking damn it.
She fucking deserved it though. What the fuck?
Yeah, but I was like, I just want to eat food. I was like so hungry. I was like, God damn it. And so I just like went back and just played games until I passed out. And I was like, all right, I guess this is good. And then
like, I don't know any of the wider context, but what a shitty girlfriend to just be
well, so she was mad because she didn't like my mom.
Was it your dad's house?
No, it was his girlfriend's house.
Okay.
So he was living with her.
Was he staying there? Oh, he's living there.
Yeah, he was living there with her.
Yeah. At that point, like you either let the kid in or you break up with the person that the kid belongs to. Like you don't stay in the relationship, but also like throw the kid to the elements whenever he's not looking. Like what the fuck?
The hope was obviously that I would get so upset or distraught or like tell my mom it sucked or something. And then my mom wouldn't let me go over.
So
and
she
then
just wanted to make you miserable until you wouldn't show up anymore. But so she was gonna rob her SO at the time of any fucking interaction with her child.
So this isn't like an isolated case either.
What the fuck?
Okay, so she's not a sociopath. She's like literally a crazy person. She ended up like after my dad broke up with her a couple of years later, she ended up like killing her parents because they lived in the same house with her.
Whoa!
And she killed them because they were like old and she didn't want to take care of them anymore.
Wow!
And so she wanted to just have the house, and so she just like murdered them in their sleep. And I remember my dad was telling me, he was like, man, a good thing that I didn't date her for long. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you were never there. I was the one with her alone all the time. I could have fucking got killed. What the hell's wrong with you?
Christ.
Like,
that's also
I was like, what the fuck? What is this? What are you like? Yeah, good thing I got out of that. I was like, what the fuck, dude? I mean, that's not the first example either, which is weird. Like the other person he dated didn't let me go to dinner with him. Like, so I would be forced to stay home alone. And she had kids. She had like 3 kids. And so they all went out to dinner, but I wasn't allowed to go to dinner with the family. Yeah, I just stayed home.
Benefit of the doubt. I'm like, I thought you meant like, oh, she just wants to be alone with her date. But she's bringing her kids.
Yeah, she brought her kids. So I stayed home and I just ate mandarin oranges for dinner.
Jesus Christ.
I remember it because
a lot of the stories from your childhood explain you.
I remember, like, that was my bigged memory from that place was I remember I was sitting there and I was playing video games, and I had accidentally spilt I put milk inside of a Jurassic Park RV that had a spitter. So you press a button and it comes up with a dinosaur spitter and he spits water at the person. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like the spitter from the movie. And I was like, yeah, but it can spit milk into my cereal bowl. That's fucking genius. And so I put milk in it.
You didn't say the magic word.
And so I was trying it, and obviously, I'm a kid, so I was getting all over the place. There's just milk spraying
disgusting.
all over the
do that as an
kitchen.
adult.
Fiend.
But it got in my cereal eventually, so I
didn't-
ate the cereal and I moved on and cleaned out the car and moved on and went out with my life. I didn't clean up the kitchen though. I forgot to do that.
Milk is terrible to get off of things that you spill
Oh,
over.
no.
Yes, it is.
It's just awful. I know it firsthand.
I remember I was upstairs. I was playing Mortal Kombat on the PlayStation, and I hear my dad come home, and I was like, "Oh, my dad's home." And I hear him like
every story has to be anchored to the video game that was there.
I'm telling you, this is how my memory works. And I'm there playing Mortal Kombat, and he comes home. He goes into the kitchen. I hear him go like, "What the fuck?" And I hear him like keep saying that over and over again. I was like, "What's he doing down there? Is he ever?" Oh, I didn't think I cleaned up the kitchen. And I hear him stomp up the staircase.
Stop.
And he comes over, and I was sitting there like pause the game, and I was like, "Uh-oh, I think he's gonna come yell at me." And he tries to open the door because the door's closed. Because I was trying to like keep so that way because I had to keep the door closed so that way it wasn't loud, so that way it didn't disturb the girlfriend. And so the door was closed, but not locked. There's no lock on the door because it's the kid's door. So he's like trying to open the door, but he's so mad he keeps turning the doorknob the opposite direction. So he can't open the fucking door. And so he thinks it's locked, and he's telling me like, "Andrew, unlock the door." I'm like, "I can't. There's no lock." He's like, "I'll unlock the door." "Why is it locked?" He's like, "It's not locked." And he's like, step back. And he step back and he punches through the fucking door.
Holy crap.
He's so mad he forgot how to door.
And he feels the doorknob. He's like, "Where's the lock?" I was like, "There's no lock on the door." And he eventually like takes a step back, grabs the door handle, twists it the other direction, swings it open, and he's like, "Why were you holding the doorknob?" I was like, "I wasn't holding." "You think I can hold you back?" Like I'm a child, dude. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh my god!
And he just yelled at me.
He'd make a good Let's Player.
No, he would not.
It can't be my fault. It's someone else's fault.
It was insane. No, he didn't have the attention span for that. But it was oh god. The only other that was the same house that I found out about the there was like the sound. I did like a fatality on Mortal Kombat, and there's a fatality where you like scare the ghost out of somebody. And when you scare the ghost out of them, I was playing in the living room because they had left me home alone to go eat dinner. And so I was playing on the living room TV, which had like a nice sound system. And so I found out when you do the ghost fatality, you can hear the ghost running forever. Like the sound of the ghost running away just continues forever. And I didn't know that. And so when they came home, I didn't want to get in trouble for like playing games. Or not playing games down there, but I didn't want to get in trouble for like playing games while they were trying to be a family. And so I turned the TV off, but I forgot to turn the sound system off. And so I just left the PlayStation on, and I just turned the TV off because they just, they were like doing whatever stuff. They were watching TV and stuff, but not with the sound system. And so they're watching TV. They close TV, and at night I go back down to play the PlayStation. I keep hearing footsteps, and I'm like, where the fuck is that coming from? And it's like middle of the night, and I'm like, oh my god, is there someone in the house? And I'm like going through like room to room, like downstairs, trying to figure out like where the fuck are these footsteps coming from? And they keep like they're only in the living room. I'm like, what the hell? And then I eventually realized like, oh, it's the game. Like the game is making footsteps and definitely sounding. That's weird. But yeah,
yeah.
Fun fact:
they're coming for you.
We're playing Mortal Kombat 3 on the PlayStation 1, but. There's a lot of all of my memories are just tied to video games. Like it's weird. My first interaction with a gay couple was over Legend of Zelda on the NES. That was like the first time I interacted with.
What?
Yeah. My dad went to work and left me at these two strangers I've never met before, and they were partners. And they didn't know how to take care of a kid because they never had kids, but they wanted kids, and so they wanted to babysit so they could get an experience for like adopting a kid.
And then he just sat there and played Zelda the whole time.
And so they were like,
"What a great kid!"
And they were like, "Well, what do you like to do?" And I was like, "I like to play video games." It's like, "Well, we only got the Zelda game for the NES." I was like, "I'm fucking here for Zelda." I was like, "Yeah, I love Zelda. I want to play Zelda." And so like. All right. And so they helped me play Zelda because I was, a dumb kid. I didn't know how to play Zelda very well. And
so they were so it was like interactive the whole time. Okay.
Yeah, they were like sitting on the couch with me.
I was like,
and
we want to have a demo child, please. And then you just sit in the corner alone and don't interact with them. And they're like,
oh no, they were
like, this didn't
great.
work out at all.
They were super nice.
That's really wholesome then.
Yeah, they just sat down. They played like Zelda with me, and they're like, that's where you go. You got to fight the thing. I was like, I'm doing it. They're like, we did it, yay! And I was like, wow. And then afterwards, like, we beat Zelda, and he's like, hey, do you want to like? My partner's got to go take care of a beehive that we have in our backyard. Do you want to watch him take care of that? And I was like, yeah. And so me and one of them went to like the very edge of the backyard. You almost
had a dad for a minute.
Yeah, well, I had two dads for a second.
Yeah, you just need to like turn to them and be like, can you be my parents?
And so like the other one, there was this huge beehive behind a mirror. And so like the guy like was in this crazy suit, like a beehive suit basically. And he like went there and he took the mirror off and you see this whole like nest behind it. And I was like, whoa. And he's like, all right, now here's the scary part. I got to get rid of them. He's like, so we're going to move out of the backyard into the house and watch through the window. And I was like, okay. And so he like started taking the beehive stuff off. And like, you know, obviously they get mad at you. Bees don't like that. And so they started getting angry and uppity. And he was moving it to like moving it to a thing. Like, I think he did like, he must have done beekeeping because he had all the fucking stuff for beekeeping. But he was like moving it to a new nest or like a new area. And but I didn't understand that. And so I saw him like covered in bees and I got scared. And I was like, oh my God, he's going to get hurt. He's like covered in bees. I know what it feels like to get stung by a bee. It hurts. Like he's going to get hurt. And so I ran out there to help him. And one of the dads, and then not one of the dads, one of the the guy that was with me was like, no, don't go out there. He had to like grab me, and I was like halfway out the door, and so like some of the bees got on me. Oh no! And they were like freaking out because they're like, oh God, he's gonna get stung by the bees. And so like the guy that was in the bee suit was like slowly like putting the bee thing down. He's like coming back and like trying to like move the bees off of me without me getting stung. He's like, just be calm, just don't make any noise, it's okay, or I'm gonna get the bees off you. I just remember being like, yeah, but you have bees on you. He's like, I'm okay, like, yeah, I'm fine.
You just like, could not understand a bee suit.
Yeah, I just didn't get the point of the bee suit. I didn't realize it prevented you from getting stung. I just thought like, oh shit, he's got a lot of bees on him. Like, fuck, the guy's gonna get hurt.
Damn. Now I'm just trying to imagine the personality of alternate universe Andrew that is two cool gay dads instead of one shitty dad.
He's probably like really chill. He probably like had a really good life. He's probably like really content with stuff. He doesn't get angry about stuff. He probably is like,
he likes Sonic 06.
He's probably diamond in Overwatch.
Motherfucker, fuck that Andrew. I don't fucking like that one. I hope he dies. Fuck that Andrew in that timeline. He doesn't deserve it. Fucking Andrew into the multiverse. I'm gonna go over there and strangle the shit out of him. I deserve to be Diamond. I deserve to have two dads.
I don't think we can top that. I think that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, everybody. You can ask questions by sending questions to dialogchoicespodcast@gmail.com. I think that's the URL. I'm not going to check. It's in the description. I think it's in the description. People barely ever set them in anyway. See you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening.